Everybody, welcome to Directly to You, the 97th episode of Directly to You. What is Directly to You? It's our podcast. Who are we? We're fanatixfour. I am AJ. This is Parker. Hi, hello, Parker. How are you doing?
Hello, what's up?
Nothing is up. Nothing is up at all. But more things can be up than are currently up if you help us support the house with housekeeping, you know? And how do you do that? You click the join button or subscribe button on youtube.com/fanatixfour or twitch.tv/fanatixfour respectively. What do you get for that? You get exclusive emotes, you get loyalty badges, you get game time with us, you get free Switch keys from time to time, you get access to our supporters on Discord, and you can join our Discord regardless if you're a supporter or not, and you help us keep the house or not, you know? You just click the link down in the description. You say, hi, people, and then Duncan's going to say, yo, what's up, man? Yo, yo, yo. That's what Duncan says, right?
That is exactly what he says.
Exactly.
Just a couple A's on the end of there.
Exactly. And then it's going to be a great old fun time. You can talk about freaking Parks and Rec and Dynamax Pokemon. It's great. But
Dynamax, Parks and Rec.
Sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that's it.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Are you playing any video games?
I sure am. I am still. It's the same one. I'm still working my way through Divinity. I'm not going to say like a whole ton new about it because it's the same thing pretty much. But I was playing it a little bit earlier today and it crashed because I got in some battle that like pretty much aggroed bad guys from like multiple different locations. And that ended up, it was like probably, I don't know, not 40, but like at least 20 to maybe 30 AIs all having to like compute things one at a time. And so you could tell their moves were starting to take longer, like, because it's like chess where you have to think like, if I do this, this guy's going to do that, and that guy's going to do that. So the AIs were all thinking, I guess, like what everybody else was going to do. So eventually got to a point where it's just like, I can't handle it anymore, and it crashed, which is like not the best, but I'd saved right before the fight, so I'm not too worried, and I'm just going to go about it differently. But it's still really fun, and I just need to knock it out before too long so I can start playing some other games. But I did start Ni no Kuni. Ashley wanted to see the beginning of it because, I picked up Ni no Kuni. I don't remember if I'd mentioned that. I got a like $50 GameStop gift card from my uncle for Christmas, and I was like, well, first I went to GameStop and I was like, I don't know how much is on here. It could be $10 for all I know. It could be more than that, but it was $50, and I was like, I'm gonna pick a game that I want to play, and I found Ni no Kuni. So I started it, and it's pretty cute and seems fun. There you go.
Great.
I haven't gotten far enough into it to have many more opinions than that, but I will.
There's Drippy. Drippy's a guy in that, right?
Oh man, he's Welsh as all get out.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I played approximately 45 minutes of that game.
I think that's about how much Did you like just get to the Ni no Kuni land, like I think I fought whatever it is. People. Okay, yeah. Like I fought one person so far.
Random NPCs, not even somebody important that I remember. But I was just like, this is neat. If it was Pokemon, I would care more. But like, I don't, because like that's the thing. It's like with Mystery Dungeon. Like Bob's like, this isn't a great game. It's like, yeah, I agree, but it's Pokemon, so like I don't care. I just deal with it because like I like the world. It's not a thing. It's not a thing of like what people accuse a lot of Pokemon fans of doing, where it's like, oh, you're just giving them excuses because I still don't like a lot of stuff in the gameplay, and I'm very vocal about that. But I like the world, and the world is well done.
Yep.
So that's what I'm playing for.
So why not?
And that's the thing that didn't keep me in with Kuni, because I don't care about the world. The gameplay is something that I don't really like. So it's like, I mean, it's better. It's preferable to how Pokemon does it. But it's not all the way there.
I mean, it's very RPG-ish, and you're not always, I'm pretty easy sell for RPGs, and that's like turn-based RPGs, and that's not necessarily your bent. That's probably it. I also, I got a new phone.
Oh shoot!
Which it's not an old one now.
Freaking Mario Kart on that.
I'm not, but here's the thing. Now I could be. I mean, I re-downloaded it, and I at the same time have Mario Kart Tour and Pokemon Go downloaded. Not that I've played either of them.
Has that not been a thing?
Oh, I literally didn't have space to do that. I could have deleted everything.
Was your phone like 16 gigs or something?
It was 16 gigs.
Oh my
the iOS takes up like 7 nowadays, and there was like 5 gigs of other that was not like even now I went back and I was like, let me see how much I could clear off. I deleted so many apps, so like cleared caches, did all sorts of stuff to just for science. And I still had like 4 gigs of other on there that I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I don't like it. So in any case,
I think I saw
have a
you
new phone.
post. The phone you have now is 64 gigs, right?
Correct. Yes. Which should be plenty for the kinds of things that I logistically need it for.
See, that's you're way better than me at that because like, realistically, I could probably do 64 gigs on my phone.
Yep.
I'm trying to see how much I have right now, but I don't even remember how to do this.
The fact that you don't remember definitely speaks to the non-need. Like I've got it very memorized how to go in and check my storage.
I don't, because like I just have so much more storage than I actually need. Because I use my phone a lot, but I use it for like work stuff. So it's like Twitter, it's like writing videos, it's like doing stuff like that. So I don't need a whole bunch of apps for it. And I don't have like music stored on here because I use like streaming services and all that stuff.
I don't, but I'm probably going to because I've got some dead zones in my commute to work and stuff. So if I already have music playing once I'm going through those dead zones, it'll have loaded the next bit and it's fine. But if I decide to switch it while I'm in those dead zones, like nope, nothing. So,
I see it.
Where'd it go? It's in system preferences, general software.
Okay, so my capacity is 128 gigs.
Okay,
I have 74.62 available right now. See?
Nice. Look at that. Something.
But yeah, I almost got, see, this is the thing. You show me a number for storage, I'm going to want to get the highest one. Just because who knows, dude? Who knows?
Who does know? Probably me. I have a lot of experience knowing.
I almost bought 512 gigabytes, but I don't need that.
Not on a phone. Yeah, I mean, unless you're doing, if you're like making videos on your phone, I guess.
That's the thing. I've considered maybe because this can do 4K and the camera that I have cannot currently. But I also want to get a 4K. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know because my camera's probably still like better.
Yeah.
Because it's a camera, like I like the lenses and all that stuff.
Yep.
But I don't know, man.
But that's what I've been playing. What have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple things.
Yep.
As far as Switch is concerned, playing Pokemon. I got a Gigantamax Lapras. Finally.
Yeah. Nice. Any new shinies?
No. I haven't really been doing that. I mean, I hatched a few apple and eggs. There's so many, dude. It's so many. It's like everyone that I do gets worse. All of them. And this is a whole other thing. That in another debate that happened in the Volcan stream pertaining to Pokemon. The whole thing is like whenever Bob and Will talk about like Pokemon or really anything.
Time out real quick before you keep going, just because sometimes we've forgotten. Are you in gallery view?
Am I in what? Yes, I already.
Cool.
I realized that right after housekeeping.
Nice.
And usually I'll do it beforehand, but I forgot. If I forget beforehand, I'm getting through housekeeping at least, and then oh shoot, I forgot.
Yep. I just wanted to check. So cool.
But yeah, so that happened, and they're talking about like the whole thing with the replay feature, and Bob's like, I think the replay feature makes it easier or whatever, and I was like, I don't think it makes it easier.
Oh yeah,
it just makes it less tedious. And he was like, yeah, and that makes it that makes it easier. And I'm like, no, that's not the same thing. Like if I'm going through the same thing that I know how to do, and when I do it, it's easy, and I don't get hit or nothing like that. It's just tedious.
Yeah.
So then we're talking about that. And then he was like, it's hard to get a shiny. I was like, I don't know if I would call it hard. You're not doing anything that's hard. You're just doing the same easy thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You're just
it's an endurance sport at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't think is hard.
No,
I think if you extrapolate on it and you say like, it's hard for me to have the patience to do that, might be hard, but the act of getting a shiny is not hard. It just takes a long time.
It's just boring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what we were talking about. And I was like, that's dumb. Yeah. But yeah, I freaking got a Gigantamax, which I guess is kind of Galarian Lapras. Kind of G-Max Lapras.
I can see that. You can make an argument for it.
Yeah. But yeah, I got that. The other Switch game I'm playing, Smash Brothers. But like at this point,
Classic.
I mostly play Smash Brothers when I'm like, oh, the 1v1 tournaments are up. That's cool. I'm gonna play those because Elite Smash is a cesspool. And like I can only get my GSP. It's so annoying because like you get to a certain point and then you're like hard capped. Like right now the cap is like 6.2 something million. I got up to that. I got up to like 2.610. Freaking, I mean 6.210 or whatever, right? And every battle is like 500 GSP for winning. I'm like, this isn't even worth it at this point.
No,
So I'm not really doing that. Just playing in tournaments. And when people are like, yo, let's play Smash, I'll play Smash with them specifically. But the game that I'm probably going to be playing mainly isn't on Switch. It's on freaking PlayStation, which I'm upset about because I pre-ordered. I got Dragon Ball Project Z or whatever when it was first announced. And I was like, this game looks cool. I'm going to pre-order it. And I was like, I don't play my PlayStation. And this was when I still had the naive thought in my head that I was going to do that for whatever reason. This was like before Red Day. Like this was like before that came out. And I was like, I don't touch this. So I pre-ordered the game. And I forgot completely. Amazon notifies me on my phone and is like, yo, your game's coming tomorrow. I'm like, shoot. I was going to cancel that. Like on one end, I don't really want to play it, or I didn't at least, but I'll get to that. Because I heard as a game, it's not great, which is usually the case for a lot of like anime. Like they're like licensed games. They're like old school licensed games where it's like, it has the source material and that's enough for most people. So and it's not enough for me. So it's like, yeah, I'm probably going to cancel this, but I forgot. So I got it now. It's freaking, where is it? It's over there. Oh no, it's right here. It's right here. I got it.
Look at that.
Yeah, great.
Cameras.
But and it's fine. I played exactly, and I checked when I saved it to get ready for this. 2.5 hours.
Nice.
I don't know. Have you watched Dragon Ball Z?
Not really. I no, honestly, and I've said a bunch of times too,
At
where
this
like,
point, don't.
Yeah, that's the thing is I know I'd kind of like to find an abridged version or something like that because like I'd like to be in on it,
like for the culture.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I know that like actually watching it is kind of painful just because of how slow it is, and
it's not. I don't even think for that reason. I just think it's not that great. And the people that are in because they got in early.
Yeah, right.
So it's like it was before it became the thing of like, oh no, this isn't good. Like he didn't know what he was doing making this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm playing that. The game is okay. It kind of feels.
What's the combat and stuff like? Or actually, yeah, what's gameplay?
It's like okay. So combat is like a fighting game light, which I don't like. I think that's kind of dumb. I think if you're going to do a single player RPG experience, you should tailor it to that, and it shouldn't feel like a fighting game because at that point, why isn't it one?
Yeah.
So I don't really like that. It's there. It's kind of like in the same way that Pokemon's like a means to an end. That's what this feels like. It's like, we want it to look like Dragon Ball, and it's an RPG, so we don't want it to be a full-on fighting game. So I'll have a little bit of elements from all of that.
Yep.
So that much I don't really like that. Like just everything else feels kind of like a little bit better than the game, like games like that already, like you think like AA, like open world-ish, like RPG sort of situations. It falls somewhere in that rather than being the like what it looked like when they announced it, where it's like, this is the Breath of the Wild of Dragon Ball Z, like that whole thing.
Right.
It's not really that deep. It's neat. I think that as a Dragon Ball Z fan that has played a lot of the RPGs that they've tried doing in the past, where they're kind of like Zelda games a little bit, it's better than that, which is fine. Like if you think of it as like, this is the evolution of like freaking Legacy of Goku, it's freaking dope, dude. But if you think of it as like, this is a Breath of the Wild, like wannabe or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's not that good. But I'm going to play it. I don't know how long. I played 2.5 hours so far. Usually my cap is like, I don't know how long I play Kingdom Hearts, like 15 hours or something. So if I get past 15 hours, I'm going to finish it, probably. Also, there's not really anything super relevant Switch-wise that's coming out other than the DLC for Smash. So
yeah, right.
Not really that much that's going to pull my attention from it.
True. I mean, today, and this isn't for you, and I'm not going to pick it up either, I don't think, but what's it called? Came out today. Yeah, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE, Encore, a million.
It's like, what video
parts.
we're going to make about that?
Yeah,
it's not really something.
It sounds like it'll be good as far as RPGs and that kind of thing goes, but I've got plenty enough other things to play, and I'm not like itching to play it, so it'll just be another one that maybe I'll pick up down the road. I don't know, but
no, I'm never going to play that. Freaking, this is a game that I'm going to be playing.
Yep.
Probably
Until Byleth comes out in Smash, which we found out about this week, y'all.
We surely did.
We sure did.
I'm upset because before we really get into it, I just want to say I don't like that they broke tradition with this. I wanted to play him on Thursday. I even didn't do partially. I didn't do the whole thing. I don't even want to freaking. I mean, I'm probably still going to attempt to do the Wednesday stream, but it's just a headache. Because like it randomly doesn't work sometimes, and other times it works. So it's like yeah.
I mean, like when we tried to stream the Pokemon Direct, it literally the night before, whatever, we tested it out, and it was like
everything was great,
looking great.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't change a single thing, and the next day everything was broken.
Everything
like
fell
not
apart.
A single thing.
Exactly. It's just
man.
And it's funny because it's like people that don't see it firsthand are thinking it's like Dan, right? Dan just hears me complain about it. And he's like, man, AJ just really doesn't know what he's doing. And then he tried streaming from a MacBook and he's like, oh, this is the problem. It's not even a thing of like what most people think it is when you talk about it. They're like, oh, well, your specs just aren't high enough. No, the specs are good. It's just that the support for Mac sucks. That's like everybody else because they're just expecting for it to be a PC. So like, oh, we'll just port over the thing that we do for Windows and everything will be fine. But they got to tailor it more, and nobody tailors the whole experience. So it's like small bits and pieces work, and then it becomes a spec issue because you have to run a whole lot of different programs to do the thing that one program should do, and then that bottlenecks everything. And it's just like.
Yeah, lame. But
that just takes all my energy away before I even start streaming. It's just like, I already have no energy for this. Just thinking about doing it drains me.
Yep. But yeah, Byleth is in there. There's a thing. They had the Direct yesterday for us. 2 days
I didn't even.
Else.
Well, I did mention it, but I don't like the fact that he didn't launch. I'm upset about it.
Oh yeah. I don't. All the other times though. Yeah, I guess.
All the other times they announced who it was, and they're like, this is going to happen, and we're going to talk about it at whatever day. And then they talk about it on that day, and then they're like, it's launching at 9 p.m. or whatever. And
I guess Joker, they announced Joker way ahead of time, and then they had the thing, they were like, ta-da, here's more about Joker, and then Joker's up later today. And then what? I think Hero they announced, and he came up that day, but then Banjo was a while later. And then
Banjo they announced. So they announced Hero and Banjo at the same time. And then
Hero went up that day, and Banjo was a couple months later. I think.
No. Yes. Yeah. No. Yes.
Because I think Banjo was like September or something like that when he actually came out.
Yeah. I know he came out later, but I'm saying I think that they announced Hero and then they did the presentation for Hero later. Like they didn't reveal him and then release him on the same day. They revealed him and then it was a couple weeks or months or whatever later, and then they said, here's the presentation of how he's going to work, and then he came out that day. And Banjo, same thing, they did the presentation, he came out that day. So and Terry, same thing. It's like they announced him, he's coming out next month, and then the presentation, and it came out that day. But this time they're like, nah, you gotta wait like 2 weeks. Which I mean works out for me and Bob because we're supposed to be doing a thing. And it's just good timing because I can just freaking go to New York when Byleth comes out and we can use that as the like catalyst for this whole thing. Where it's like, you want to be good with this character, use this, like that sort of thing.
Yep. One other aside that I just think is funny, I didn't leave my character named Byleth in the game. I named him Artreus just because, I don't know, just made up a name. So now it's like weird hearing the name Byleth because like that to me it's like, oh yeah, it's that guy, the guy from the game that I'm playing. But like as far as actually the name, like it doesn't hold a whole lot of weight to me, so that's funny. But yeah, what were your impressions as it happened or whatever?
So all of it, like you mean like that it was okay. So going into this event, just like I don't know, like I just don't like the Smash Bros. Like hype train fandom. I don't like it.
I'll have a story about that later.
Because everybody feels like they know everything, and that they all had these like logical approaches, and Smash Brothers is anything but.
Yeah.
Anything but. So like whenever people are like short of something literally leaking, whenever somebody's like, oh, well, they announced this around this time and this guy said this and he retweeted that. So clearly it means this. And everybody else that says anything counter to that is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guarantee you. I don't know who this character is going to be. Because again, that's antithetical to like how I look at Smash Brothers. All I know is that you also don't know. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So then before that, I was just, I was memeing. I was like, yo, I want a freaking Pokemon trainer too. Because that's who that's the only character that they can announce that I'm like, that's cool. But on the same train of thought, I really don't care. Because like, the only thing that could happen is that I'm more excited than I would have been otherwise. I'm not going to be disappointed if they don't do Pokemon trainer or whatever. It's just like, either it's more characters to fight, a character that's pretty neat, or the character that I want most. And that's all, positive for me. Either way, I'm coming out on top. You know what I mean? So on that end, I was like, I don't know who it's going to be, but like I said, I know we don't know. So going into the event, I literally, I freaking drafted this tweet before the thing started. I said something along the lines of like, man, Dante looks broken, or something like that. Send tweet. And then it was the freaking Fire Emblem stuff. And I was like, that's perfect, dude. That's perfect.
That's hilarious.
And it's like, it all feels like people staking a claim and then immediately taking it back, which is why it's like that whole thing where like Max was annoyed me when he's like, man, this was so predictable. And it's like, it's not predictable because everybody was predicting everything but that. In fact, if you would have walked up to somebody and be like, it's clearly going to be a Fire Emblem character, they would have thought you were memeing. That wasn't a serious prediction.
Yeah.
So to me, that says that that's anything but predictable if people think that you're just joking, or that that's like it becomes parody because it's that unlikely that something that likely would happen, right?
Yeah.
Like it makes sense that they're in the game, and I think that that's what a lot of people are thinking, like, oh yeah, that's why it's predictable, because it makes sense. But
as far as like the move to have that be the fifth character that was announced, this week,
and even
is not what anyone was expecting.
And putting a character that makes sense on that level, like an ARMS character, right? Like that's a character that makes sense in this game. But it would still be surprising if they did it, because they didn't do it on launch.
Yeah.
Like they could have put a Fire Emblem Three Houses character in the game at launch. They could have did that, but they didn't. So a lot of people just thought like, oh, okay, that's just out the window now. And it became a meme. It was like, oh, if it happens, then that, like, whatever, dude. Like, that's why it's like, to me, I think that it was a thing that's like, it makes sense to add a Fire Emblem Three Houses character, but it didn't seem likely because it didn't already happen.
I mean, because I think everybody's logic for when they were thinking about it was like, okay, they started with the biggest third-party one, and then like there was this one, and then there's that one, and then there's this one. And Terry was kind of a smaller third-party one. Like so now it's got to be the biggest. Like that's right. That's anytime somebody made a prediction, like even when people were saying Dante,
applying logic,
to
something that is illogical.
Yeah, and honestly, so here's the thing: when I forgot, I remembered that the direct was happening in the morning. Got to work. It happened at 8:00 my time. And then at 8:30, I was like, oh yeah, that happened. So I went, and obviously like there was no way for me to find it and not see Byleth all over the place. So I saw it and I was like, that's hilarious. And, started watching it. And the reveal is the like funniest, most like self-aware video. I loved it so much. I was just cracking up. Like, I mean, the too many swordsmen thing where she was like, oh, too many swordsmen, huh? And all that was like, I really enjoyed it a lot. And like, obviously, this is honestly the one that I'm most excited about for just personal reasons, just because, I mean, I said that on Twitter too, but like of all the other characters, this is the only one that I actually have like fully played a game of and, enjoy. So hearing all the music and seeing the stages, I'm like, yeah, that's that place, which I'm sure everybody else has felt about all the other characters, or at least some of them or whatever. But yeah, I just thought it was a really funny reveal.
Yeah, I think the closest I got, because again, like I said, like none of the characters so far have been that for me. I mean, I played through Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah.
Like, I like this game and it's cool and everything, but I didn't like connect with it on that level where it's like,
right.
I want this in Smash Brothers, The character that I would say I liked the most in terms of like a reveal and like that being a character that I wanted was Banjo.
Yeah.
But even him, it wasn't like a dream. It wasn't Pokemon Trainer 2, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm fine with all of them. And that's how I feel about Byleth. The only thing about him, though, and I was telling you this, is that he doesn't look great. Like he looks like pretty like middle of the pack in terms of like all the characters in general, which I guess in a way is good because like Smash Brothers does have a history of like the last character being like by far the best character, and it's just like with Bayonetta and like that literally breaking Smash 4, and then it was just dead at that point. It was like either you picked Bayonetta or you lost, pretty much. And it's a good thing that it's not that character, because I would have also thought that it was funny if we got Dante and then that's what it was. I mean, it would suck for me as a fan of the competitive scene.
Right.
But I would also thought it was funny. Where it was like, see, you guys wanted this. You asked for it. You literally asked for it. And it happened, and now this is where we are.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's just what he is. Like, he's just like male Bayonetta that the main difference is he uses a sword more. Which is ironic because we were like too many sword fighters, but he was Dante instead.
That was the thing. When I told Mitch, I was like, seems like it might be Dante. Well, I told him like, I don't know, 2 days ahead of time or something that it was going to be happening and that people suspected Dante. And he was like, another sword fighter? Really? I was like, I mean, I much prefer this over Dante. People are mad though, and it's okay. So here's the thing. I was talking to Mitch, and he had a group chat going with some of his other friends from like high school and stuff that they play video games together and stuff. And he was telling me about one of his friends that I realized, like, I already knew that this guy was like pretty negative and bitter about most things in general, but then I realized from two of the comments that Mitch told me about him, I was like, oh, he's actually literally the kind of person that like we meme as being the trolliest kind of person, because he was saying that like, I mean, too many sword fighters, but like that Sakurai should retire because like, whatever. And like very seriously, like Sakurai just needs to retire. Like if he's going to be doing this, he needs to retire. Also once it was like super hard on Dexit, like,
oh my God.
Yeah, like just the worst about it. And like his toxicity, I had to balance it out for Mitch, who was in the middle and who didn't buy the game in either direction, but was like, yeah, I mean, I guess this kind of, some of this stuff does suck. And I was like, yeah, kind of, but also like that guy is like way too toxic about it. And it's not anywhere near the big deal that he's making. He's like, I guess. But also, and this was the epitome of like, oh, he's that. He very much wants Waluigi in Smash.
Oh my God.
And I was like, no, that's literally the people that we make fun. I mean, like, I'd be fine if Waluigi was in, except for the toxic people. Like that's
the thing that ruins everything for me, because it's like all these things theoretically, I would be fine with in a vacuum. But once people start getting toxic about it, or even indignant, or, like, I told you so, like that whole thing.
Or deserving or whatever.
It makes me not want it to ever happen.
I know. That's the tricky thing.
Ever. And that, like, that's like, I feel bad because I know that there's people that even removed from all this, like they wanted like Dante or whatever. Yeah. And I feel bad for those people, because the second that everybody else was like, that's clearly what we're going to get. If you don't think that, you're dumb. Yep. Like at that point, I'm like, I don't care what you genuinely want, person that wanted Dante beforehand. This could not happen. It's not allowed.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't have a very many competitive bones in my body, but if somebody starts getting super competitive and is like a jerk about it, I just want them to lose. Like I'm like, I might not be the person that can make you lose, but someone needs to do it. So in this context is that
he's the chosen one.
He is the chosen one, and he need not retire.
I completely, you know what? I completely accept the Fire Emblem. That's the perfect retort.
It is, like, honestly,
You know, it'd be hilarious if freaking Dante, you know, even Waluigi, if Waluigi was just sitting there and they're like, you know what? Let's throw everybody a bone. They've been pretty nice. And then everybody started acting like that. And he's like, you know what? Cancel Waluigi, put Byleth in the game.
Yep. Man.
That would be perfect.
So it'll be fun. I still haven't played Smash in forever, so I probably won't even pick it up, but I'm excited that it's happening. But some other things got announced within all of that as well. There's Cuphead, Altair, Rabbids, Mega Man Zero, and Mega Man Battle Network Mii Fighters. Cool. The Cuphead one looks real sweet. There you go.
I'm curious to see, because like Sans was one of the Mii Fighters that I was like, oh my god, please take this out the game. Because it's like almost exclusively used by meme fighters. You know, like you're just a memer if you're using it, probably. Almost certainly are a memer if you're using the Sans Mii Fighter.
Yep.
I don't know if Cuphead will be used by me.
Maybe a little bit, but I don't think as much. I feel like most of the people that are excited about Cuphead are like, "Ooh, yeah, I like."
Yeah, Cuphead's cool. Like
playing hard games, or I don't know, whatever.
Cuphead's not really a meme, so I don't know if memers would gravitate towards him. So that's neat. I don't know if I'll buy. Like the only thing that's going to make me buy it is if I do another one of those freaking challenges and there's a Cuphead Mii Fighter in the thing, and then I'm forced to buy it.
True. I forgot about that. That's funny.
That was so annoying. It was so annoying because it had to be the one Mii Fighter that I do not like. For it to be like, I mean, Undertale's fine. I think the song is cool, but I don't like Sans because of the memers.
Yes, right.
So it's like, I gotta freaking buy this stupid thing.
Yep. But yeah, then the other things with that, we got the new stage. There's new music coming with Fire Emblems and Byleth stuff. We learned how to count in binary, so I've been practicing some of that. I figured out that this is 30, so and various other ones as well. Good stuff. And then the last thing they announced the new pass will have 6 fighters and everything will be out by December 31st, 2021. So
which is insane, and I hate that.
You mean just how far out it is? Or?
No, yes, but again, not as somebody that plays Smash Brothers, but as somebody that creates content on the internet and is plugged in with all the impressions. Like I'm just tired of this cycle. I just want it to be done. Like just release all the characters, so we don't have to deal with this anymore. Like just done.
I think the thing with me for it is and I kind of mentioned this in my predictions video for the next direct or whatever, is that again for personal reasons I don't really care about Smash anymore at all for myself. I think I very much want new great announcements for everybody else, but as far as like for me, not so much. So I really like that they
and I have complicated feelings about that because again for everything around it, like the impressions and all that stuff, I was about to curse.
Did it
and all that stuff.
It'd be harder to edit out now. That's a consideration.
That's true. But yeah, like as far as that goes, I want them to be done for that reason.
Yeah.
But I think that removing them for the sake of like everything else around it is a crutch for everything else around it. Because if a new game gets announced and it's overshadowed by a Smash Brothers announcement by the zeitgeist, that means that announcement wasn't that exciting. Because there's plenty of announcements that have been made in the past when Smash 4 was a thing, not really as much here. Because there haven't been that many more exciting announcements that's like, oh, this is Game of the Year material.
I mean, Breath of the Wild 2, like that was still bigger than even Smash ones. I think for me, it's not so much it overshadowing things as much as theoretically taking the big announcement spot or like the, opener or closer of a direct kind of spot.
Yeah,
because
but that's what I mean. Like, I don't think that it usually does that unless it really is that. Like, I don't think Nintendo is like we have a Smash Brothers DLC announcement and it's designated for the opener, right?
I mean,
I think they think, okay, genuinely, what is going to get the most buzz, and then the second most buzz, and then they decide where to put the announcements at.
Yeah.
If the Smash Brothers announcement is genuinely the second most exciting thing, that's the least of our concerns as far as the Smash Brothers announcement itself. The concerning thing is that they don't have anything more exciting than a Smash Brothers announcement. Right. Because, like, as we saw with the Game Awards, them not having a Smash Brothers announcement doesn't mean that the announcements that are made there are more exciting. It just means that we're more disappointed by the fact that they didn't have something as exciting, at the very least, as a Smash Brothers announcement. And that's a bummer. So, like, I think that on both ends, it's a crutch. And that kind of sucks. Where it's like it's a crutch for them to have a big announcement when it's not really a big announcement. But at the same time, it's a crutch for everything else around it for people to be, a Nintendo Direct happened and Overwatch came out or whatever, right? I don't think that if a Smash Brothers announcement was there, Overwatch would have took over the internet because it was expected. So people were like, Overwatch happened.
True.
It just wouldn't have had the Smash Brothers reveal. So it wouldn't have been in a news cycle as much because of that, you know? And for that reason, I think that the Smash Brothers announcements are good. But again, I want them to be done.
True.
Because I just want the zeitgeist to be less toxic.
True.
And this is the only way.
And speaking of the only way to play the fourth house in Fire Emblem Three Houses is getting the DLC Fire Emblem Cindered Shadows. It's a thing. They announced a thing. I'll pull up the details.
So I technically have this. Did I tell you the ending to the saga?
Oh, you got... Yeah, you got the whole... Yeah. Oh, I thought it was just the base game. It was the whole thing for like $26 or something?
This is the thing. Walmart had a price error. For $26, it was the game plus the bonus.
Oh, nice.
The expansion pass and stuff like that, right?
That's awesome.
I went through a whole thing. They sent me just the expansion pass. I freaking called them and I was like, yo, what's going on, dude? This is the thing. And then they said, hey, man, it doesn't say that. And I was like, you know what? I have you. Checkmate. Because I saved the email where it says game plus freaking expansion pass for $26. So you're not going to change the name of the listing and try to get over on me.
So really, because you just bought, because the DLC is $25. So you bought the game for $1, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Basically, but I'm getting to that. So then I was like, no, like that's not, we're not doing this. Either you refund me my money or you send me the game. They let me keep the expansion pass and refunded me the money. So technically I just got the DLC for free and I don't have the game. So I was
interesting. I thought you had the game. Okay.
No, they didn't send me. That was the problem. They didn't send me the game.
Yep.
That's what the original, I didn't complete the saga. That was where we were left off.
So what are you going to do with it now?
I'm going to buy the game eventually.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah.
And I had the expansion pass, which is cool. But right now I don't have the game. So I was like,
I guess you'll have to beat the game first to get to the expansion pass too.
Yeah. Which is like,
yeah.
I guess I'll do
deer.
Like
Golden Deer.
No.
Golden Deer's the best.
I'll probably just do freaking Black Eagles again, and then I'll just side with Edelgard this time.
Controversial, but yeah. I mean, the details of it. It's $25. It's the whole expansion pass, so it's already got waves of smaller things that have come out, but this is like the story content that has been mentioned before. And there's a fourth house that was existing like under the monastery or something like that, and you can play as them. I don't know. So is it post-game stuff? I think, right? Or do you?
I think it's like a separate thing. It's like a separate save file situation.
Okay. It says it introduces a secret fourth house into the mix. Are
these the ones that slither in the dark or something?
I don't think so. I think that's a separate thing, but I mean, who's to say? They don't specify. It sounds like, okay, maybe this is you also get this house and they have their own missions and their own separate side story and stuff like that.
What I
it says
saw
side story.
Like,
yeah. Okay.
It like operates completely different. So it doesn't operate like a fourth house and you go through the stories.
Right.
You know, you're not going through like the monastery thing and like teaching people and doing that whole situation. It's just like more akin to like the older games where it's just like, you know, like a bunch of missions that you go through in succession.
Well, I'm down with that. I think there's a Q&A about this somewhere all the way down here, but I'll wait to pick it up just because I've got so much other stuff to play. But I will definitely play it at some point because I really like Fire Emblem.
No, it's probably not going to work. I
don't know. Well, it's probably not going to work.
I was going to say, I wonder if you could download it off of my account.
Oh. Yeah, probably not.
Work or not.
Would be my guess. I don't know. But so there's that. Next up, Metro Redux is coming to Switch. Not a whole lot to talk about here, but it was rumored for a little bit, and then sure enough, there it is. Mm-hmm. It's a double pack with Metro Redux and hang on, let me see. Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. And they'll both be on the 16 gig cart if you get it that way. Cool. And yeah, I don't know a ton about these games other than they come before Metro Exodus that came out last year, I think.
And this was all announced the same day as the reveal or whatever.
True. Also, as the Capcom thing that they mentioned, I didn't even put that in here because Devil May Cry 3, there's some news about how you can... I've never played the game, so I don't understand necessarily what it means, but there's some mechanic thing in there that's in the later games that they've now added to Metro, or to number 3 that'll be coming.
Yeah. I mean, you would think in theory, just with how everybody has been talking about the whole announcements thing, you would think that one of these things would have bubbled up to the top since everybody's so mad about the Fire Emblem reveal. You would think that people are like, oh, well, Cindered Shadows, I'm so excited for that. But it's the thing. It's like, oh, yeah, this exists. Like, we knew we were going to get DLC eventually.
Yep. Apparently, it was at the end of the Direct in Japan, but for some reason...
it was not for us.
Yeah, which is dumb. Like, they could have just put it at the end. I mean, not dumb, but like, kind of.
It is kind of dumb.
Like, they just could have stuck it at the end there and been like, also, here's this, you know.
You can play more as Byleth in this DLC.
Remember how you're mad about Byleth? Here's a bunch more. Yeah, there you go. So that's that. And then another news thing real fast is that the Mario plus Rabbids studio is hiring for a prestigious AAA title. So we're thinking maybe Mario plus Rabbids 2, which if they're hiring now, might mean that the game's coming out in quite a while. But I know how much you loved Mario plus Rabbids.
I think it's going to be Boy Zelda plus Rayman, number 1. That's what it's going to be.
I did wonder if it's going to be not a direct sequel, but something else kind of in the same similar vein with Zelda. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense.
Mario didn't make sense.
I would argue that Mario and Donkey Kong are like more silly kind of characters to where like they can
What the heck? Have you played Zelda before? There's literally a character that his freaking snot droops down to the floor and never actually falls. This is a series that if you kill a chicken or take it to near death, a horde of more chickens will kill you.
Yeah, that's very serious matters.
I'm just saying.
That's a matter for the CDC right there.
Zelda pretty dumb. And people just put this like Lord of the Rings, like freaking like the Witcher level of seriousness.
I think it's definitely not that much, but it's definitely more than Mario. Like you can just by nature of like what the series represents as of now, at least. Like even when when Link is in
even now in Breath of the Wild, you freaking sail in a sailboat by fanning it with a leaf.
Yep, you sure do.
You smack chickens with a fire rod to cook them into fully carved up chickens.
Accurate. That's very serious matters. That's what you need to live in this world. I don't know what you're doing, but that's...
All I'm saying is Zelda pretty dumb. And putting him in a world with rabbits wouldn't surprise me at all.
I mean, maybe if it's a sword-based thing instead of guns and stuff. I don't know. But I I mean, I'm sure they could make it work in a way that I'm not envisioning, but as of right now, at least, my mental view of Zelda is, as a franchise, is in general less. Silly is not the right word. I don't know what exactly it is, but it's something like that.
I don't know.
Just saying. Just saying. But that's that. And then the last thing.
I can name examples for days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's like lots of little. But like when you talk to actual Link, like he's more stoic, I guess.
He doesn't actually talk. He says, hi.
He does.
Sit.
Yep. And then when he climbs, he goes.
He goes, hop, hop, hop.
No, that's just me. I'm dying. Carry on. Yeah. Boy Zelda. And then last but not least, NPD results came out for, you grabbed this so you can maybe say some more about it, for 2019 and the 2010s in general. So that's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's ridiculous. Particularly, I want to talk about the decade. And how we've all failed as a society.
So here's the top 20 best-selling games from 2010 through 2019 in the US. And this is usually mostly physical. I think
a lot of these companies don't disclose their digital numbers.
Yeah.
But largely it would be unchanged if it included digital. The only thing that would be different is like some Nintendo stuff would be higher.
Yeah, I think like Mario Kart probably would be higher, but I don't know, maybe not. But in any case, here we go. Number 1, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops. Number 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Number 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Oh, sorry. Yes. So number 1, Grand Theft Auto, and then Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Ghosts, not Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty World War 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Minecraft,
which is 4 lines. Okay, yes. Why didn't they do tallies?
Yeah. Number 11, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Number 12, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Number 13, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Number 14, Mario Kart 8. Number 15, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Number 16, Battlefield 1. 17, Battlefield 4. 18, Destiny. Number 19, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And last but not least, Star Wars Battlefront 2015.
I'm disappointed in us all.
That's 10 Call of Duty games. That's one. I mean, it's one for every year.
That's all of them. If there were 20 Call of Duties, I wouldn't be surprised. If there were 20, there would be 19 on this list.
Yeah.
Because the only game that's pushing a Call of Duty off of here is like 18 because Minecraft is there. So Minecraft and Grand Theft Auto, I think, are the only games that.
And Red Dead Redemption, apparently. Look at that.
17.
But,
Call of Duty,
same idea.
And Rockstar games with Minecraft.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I guess, really, it just is.
That's depressing, dude.
Call of Duty. I mean, there's just lots of gamers lots of people that just only play Call of Duty.
Play that, yeah.
And that's it. They just buy one game a year. They've got, which is kind of crazy to think about. I mean, if you play it a whole lot, I guess you're getting your money's worth. It's weird for me to think about putting more money into the hardware of a system than into the software of it. But I mean, whatever.
I mean, but you're kind of not. Like, if they buy all,
they bought 5, then that's yeah. But I mean, if you got like an Xbox One X for $500, you need to buy 9.5 Call of Duties to be that same price or something.
Which they probably did, and DLC for it.
Yeah, and a bunch of microtransactions. That's. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna say I'm like sad about it or anything because
I'm sad. I'll be sad for both of us.
I think it's just a whole. It's kind of like you have a Venn diagram going of like
Kojima won, dude. Because he's like, oh, that's why people don't like Death Stranding. It's not because it's a walking simulator. It's because it's not a shooter. And then like, look at our sales, man. Like, he just proved this. He proved himself right, man. Freaking Kojima.
You hate when people prove themselves right.
I hate when indignant people prove. When people that like already think that they're the best are proven right. That just like validates their feelings, you know. It's just like those aren't great feelings to reward, you know.
It's true. I'm with you. But Breath of the Wild made it on this list, and I'm happy about that.
I like when the good guy wins, you know? Like,
I also like that.
But
the underdog.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't
like when the Titans win the Super Bowl. I only say that because I live in Tennessee, and they're doing well. So I'll be watching an actual football game on Sunday. My dad was like, "Hey, do you want to watch the football game with me? Because they're still in town." And I was like, "Yeah, man, sure.
Yeah, man,
I'd be happy to." So that'll be a good old time.
The ball, the guy.
It did a thing. I understand most of the mechanics about football, but I just don't care about it. I don't care about the macro anything at all. Like, just, this team's doing that or whatever. Because I know that I already have enough things that occupy my mind space. And if I were to add something else to that, then I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a thing, and that's why it's like I find it funny when people that are into sports are like, "Man, there's some nerd stuff," because sports is nerd stuff. Dude.
Yeah, right. It's just
it's stats.
It's nerd stuff that somebody's doing physical stuff for. Like
somebody else, though.
Yes, exactly.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's wild. It takes more physical exertion to play a video game than it does to watch it. That's
true.
wild.
That is funny.
Wild.
Everybody listening to this, feel so good about yourselves for how much physical exertion you put up playing video games.
Like if you got people that like all you do is like freaking see, this is the thing. Like my stepmom was like that, right? Where she's like, you play too much video games. I'm like, you literally are watching movies downstairs at the same time that I'm playing video games.
Yeah,
the same thing. We're both sitting in a place. We're both sedentary right now, right?
Yep. On the plus side, depending on the video game, it's using your brain a little bit more. I mean, like, not to say that you shouldn't also get outside and talk to people and do activity and stuff. But true. You're using your brain.
Exactly. But this is the only thing that's my point is if you got people that watch football and they're like berating you for playing video games while they watch football, you're doing the same thing. But yeah, let's do better next decade and vary up this list a bit.
Let's do it.
At least at the very least, if we're gonna make it freaking 50% shooters, more than that, in fact, like 15%.
Have one of them be Splatoon.
85%. No. If we're gonna make it shooter, just make it more than 3 of them.
True.
Because Star Wars. But Star Wars is Star Wars.
Star Wars
I don't even know if I want to count that. But it's Call of Duty, freaking Battlefield, Battlefront, and Destiny. And then the only non-shooters are Skyrim, Mario Kart, Zelda, and Minecraft.
And Red Dead.
Red Dead is definitely a shooter.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't say it's a shooter.
Your primary with the world is a gun. That's what you're doing.
But at the same time, I wouldn't say Zelda is a sworder. I mean, yeah. I mean, or does it?
Not yet.
But I wouldn't say Zelda is a hack and slash game as its main category. Like you do hit people with swords and stuff, but that's not like. But it's, I mean, semantics at that point to some degree. But what's not semantics? Comments. They actually are a little bit. They can be. And here we go. You made a video this week about Pokemans, and we have some comments from that video. Yep. Do you have anything to say for yourself before we get started?
I wish that time worked differently, and I wish that Nintendo announced the freaking Direct earlier so I could do it on the same day so that the algorithm would love this video more than it currently does. But unfortunately, time is a construct, and it wasn't built around me. So it doesn't work how I wanted to sometimes, So
Accurate.
That sucks.
It does suck. Speaking of time, Griffinix said, I've been wanting Pokemon DLC for so long now, for so much time.
Oh,
in other words, thank you. I've been redeemed.
You brought it around.
I was just like, I don't know, maybe something in this comment will make sense.
Talk about time at some point.
Thank you, Griffinix, for saving me. Sorry, I've had a terrible cough for a while. It doesn't. Whatever. Griffinix says, I've been wanting Pokemon DLC for so long now. It's great to have it be a thing. Imagine if they added the Battle Frontier to ORAS after they realized people actually wanted it, or some more content, story content in X and Y, focusing on Zygarde instead of having it shoved in Sun and Moon. And let's not forget that most of the new content in the Ultra games could have been DLC for the originals. Yeah, this is great. And the fact that none of the new Pokemon are locked out and actually compatible with the base game if you don't buy it is great. We can transfer our old Pokemon up without buying in, and more people, particularly the naysayers, need to realize that. Many third versions added new forms or actual Pokemon that aren't compatible with the base game, so that's a welcome change.
Yeah. My most welcome change of this is that you keep your progress, so you're not replaying through any old content. And I think that was a lot of like kind of the justification for having, like the third version, because it is a full game. It's just 80% of that game is the game you already played. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like it's good that we're able to like move forward and not replay things with slight things that are different, because like those things that are different can be cool, but a lot of it is like lessened by the fact that you have to redo stuff that you've already done before. Because like playing through like Ultra Sun, I never finished that because like I was just like, I already did this. But a lot of stuff that I did get to that was new, I was like, oh, that's cool. They changed that, or that, like that person operates differently, or this legendary didn't exist in this game, and how he like is now a part of this story on a core level is pretty cool, like that sort of thing.
Yep. It's hard to know exactly with these if like you're comparing. There's more content in this DLC than there was new content in the original games without seeing them. But on first glance, unless they're super deceptive with their marketing, there's way more content, I think, at least from just looking at it, in the DLC than there was new content in any of the, like, third versions or something like that.
Yeah, that's possible. I don't know. It depends on how much they change these raids and how many Pokemon are compatible with these raids, and if we get like a battle tower equivalent or something. Because I think like Emerald added a ton of content in that way, like how it has the Battle Frontier, and that's like, I mean, technically endless amounts of content because it added a post game. Yeah, right. So I think that is in contention for that. But again, I mean, it depends on what we have.
Yeah. I mean, and it depends on like the dungeon thing. We don't really know what that means, but probably, I mean, it sounds like that's going to be a fairly fleshed out, experience thing, as long as it's not just like, I don't know, because it kind of sounds like similar to the wormhole things in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, maybe. But just a little more contextualized in not wormholes.
And I think that the only thing that they need to do is they need to nail what you do with other people.
Yeah,
because
right.
That's something that extends the life infinitely in any game, which is like what we were talking about. Who said that? It was like in a tweet or something. Max. He was like something about how Hollow Knight is like the most like bang for your buck.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, maybe for a single player game, but like other than like Breath of the Wild, obviously.
Yeah, right.
And maybe even like Mario Odyssey and stuff like that, because there's a lot of content in that game too. But for multiplayer games, you can literally play them for thousands of hours.
Right.
So if they have something that's like deep enough to keep people in for long enough beyond, just battling, because some people like doing that for thousands of hours too. But if they have something that gets to like the lower end level trainers and stuff like that in on it, where it's like you don't have to like be into like breeding and EV training and all that stuff to be competent in this, but you can still like participate in this for endless amounts of time. And then it's even something that makes that accessible. So then if you're doing these raids and then your Pokemon are becoming competent just by doing the raids, and you're not doing all that extra legwork that people see it as, just passively, that could even open the door for people wanting to battle because they have Pokemon that are worthy of doing stuff.
True. Indeed. Next comment. And we'll keep going. Alec says, I'm very excited for DLC. It just seems like exactly the right step for Game Freak. Let a small team keep the game alive, giving the rest of the staff more time to work on the next outing. Plus, this looks like more This looks like it'll be 2,000% more content than the enhanced versions added. People have so much nostalgia for Yellow, Emerald, and Platinum that they don't realize how little was really changed. $30 DLC with 2 completely new areas, story, new Pokemon, and expanded decks is so much better than a full-price game with 1 different gym leader, a slightly different dex, a mini game, and a battle tower. We kind of already touched on some of this stuff.
Yeah. I think including Yellow in this is kind of weird, too. Because Yellow, like, reworked the story. You know, like, freaking Jesse and James weren't in the game.
Yeah.
You all 3 starters. You didn't have the Pikachu that followed you, which again is whole nother part that you can't really quantify. And like,
right. I mean, that's the thing that's tricky is like, because even with the Jesse and James thing, ultimately that only affected probably like 5 total encounters, but it felt, I mean, because the story was so kind of bare bones and like, it kind of happened as you went. That felt like a significant portion of the story, but like in reality, amount of effort wise, like that's not really that much.
And that's what I'm saying. It depends on how like somebody else is viewing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if you're playing through that, like I never viewed and still don't really view Pokemon Yellow in the same way that I do like Red and Blue, right? Like for the other games and maybe even Platinum, I think is probably in that ballpark too. Where Emerald, I think that Emerald is only like notable because the post game, the going through the actual game is a little bit different because you're like dealing with both sides of the coin instead of just Team Magma or just Team Aqua. But it doesn't really change the story in that way. Whereas I would opt to play Yellow over Red or Blue.
Right.
I wouldn't really do that if I'm just trying to play through the story for Emerald or Platinum because it's just going through the same region, and then they have more post game stuff or whatever. Right? And it really just depends on how much you care about the anime, whether or not you would prefer to play Yellow. But I do agree in terms of like like how much work did it take for them to add Jesse and James? It obviously wasn't that, right?
Right. Yeah. The one side thing too, a conversation that I heard going on last week, and I think is just so ridiculous, is people talking about the that the DLC pretty much like that you shouldn't have to pay for it for Sword and Shield. That it's like if you buy it for $30, you should. That whole thing, I don't know if you heard anybody kind of talking about that. I was listening to some other podcasts where they mentioned it, and I think it's just the dumbest criticism. Because, like, how many people is that actually going to happen to? There's like, I have Sword and Shield. I have Sword and I have Shield. I mean, yes, there are lots of people that have Sword and Shield. And also, I want to play post-game in both Sword and Shield. Also, there are people... Yes, there are definitely people that will do that. But I mean, it's because either they have the money and they want to and it would be fun to, or B, it's because they have a compulsive problem with it. And like, that's, I don't even know if you could say like Game Freak is taking advantage of them. It's more like Game Freak is like, we should probably make them different from each other just so they're a little bit different from each other, I guess, because the base games are different.
Make them different from each other for the reason that the base games are different from each other, which is so that you have a different experience from your friend, and you had the watercolor moments, and you can trade and battle, and it's like a different, it's not the same thing for everybody. That's why it's not supposed to wall you off from content and make you feel like you need to buy it. The only people that I feel like feel that way are the people that don't want to make friends with people that also play the game. And in 2020, it's not that hard. Yo, dude. No, you listen to this. You right there. You listen to this. You have a hard time finding friends. You travel down to that description. Go to our Discord. Ask somebody to trade you that freaking ponyta that you want so bad, dude.
Accurate.
Got it, man. Saved you $90 or whatever, right?
Yep, pretty much. So. Man, it's a funny thing. But next comment. Jacob Draney said, Dexiter's still complaining when 200 plus Mons are being added for free. Shaking my head. Pokemon fans that played it love Sword and Shield and will always be excited for new content in a timely manner like this. Just let us enjoy the game without being mad that you're too salty about a tree to play the game. Thanks.
Again, largely down to that people are salty about a tree.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't think it's fair to say that like everybody that played Sword and Shield enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely people that haven't.
I think though the people, it's because the reason people were complaining on the front end was they were complaining about a content issue. They weren't complaining about like the mechanics, the blah, 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 you know, all this kind of stuff. They were complaining, oh, Game Freak isn't doing enough work to get all these Pokemon in here. I guarantee 99% at least of people that played it and didn't like it, it wasn't because there weren't enough Pokemon there. It was because mechanics stuff, because they didn't like, they were like, it's just traditional old Pokemon and I kind of am over that. Or I've never played Pokemon and I'm trying it and it's just not really for me, or those kinds of things. Or, you know, like the story's kind of bare bones or whatever. But like nobody cares about the only people that care about the fact that not every Pokemon's in there are either they don't care that much, or it's people that aren't the ones buying the game. Or something like that.
I think it's all about like value allocation. It's how much you think and what you think the experience is worth, right? Where it's like to people, they think like, oh, Pokemon was $40 on 3DS, and that's only because it's a 3DS game, and that's why the game plays like it does, because it's a 3DS game, and blah blah. They're not thinking like, oh, just by virtue of the fact that we're taking what could just be the same experience on a 3DS game and effectively doubling, if not more, the work just to make it run on Switch hardware. That costs more money to do. Like just them developing this game. And it's been documented time and time again across all different companies and stuff like that, that it costs more money to make HD games just to make them HD. They don't have to be the most technically impressive game. They don't have to be Breath of the Wild to cost more money to warrant a $60 price tag. On top of the fact that, obviously, that's not how business works. It's not just about, like, here's this amount of money for what you're, like, directly the materials that you're paying for or whatever, right? Like, iPhones don't cost what they cost because it costs them $200 to make the thing, right? They're also factoring in, like, what's our brand worth? And what's our R&D on this product? And, you know, like, stuff that's not tangible, but still valuable, whether it's, like, perceived value or not, right? It just doesn't work like that. And, like, that's a rabbit hole that people do not want to go down. I promise you, you don't want to go down it, because Breath of the Wild 2 will be $134. Said about it if you go down that rabbit hole. I swear to you, I'm telling you, man. Like,
I think the point of the comment, though, exactly is like, I think the value has to be to some degree. Like, you have to understand that there's set value to things as far as like market research, kind of whatever, you know, like $60 game, it's a $60 game. It's a $60 game. Like, that's just going to happen. So then it's the question of like, what's it worth to you? But like, you can't say, like, anybody that's saying like, I can't believe that it's $30 for a DLC when the original game wasn't even worth the $60. Like, all this stuff should have been added in the original game. That is 100% true for your value and worth of it. But like, you have to kind of take a step back and be like, I don't think for me that's worth that price. I'm not going to pay that price for it. There's plenty of games that I'm not going to pay whatever price for it. And like, I'm just waiting for a sale, because like I was interested in Dragon's Dogma, but I didn't want to buy it at $30 because I didn't know if I was going to actually like it. So I bought it at $22 when it was on sale, and I was like, there we go. And I still haven't played it yet because it's in my backlog. But, you know, whatever.
And that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people understand. That's the power you have as a consumer.
Yeah, right.
The power you have as a consumer is not to complain about the price until they give in your mind, which is not happening again.
Yeah, right.
It's to say, to me, it's not worth $60. So I am not going to pay $60, and I'm going to wait for it to potentially get a sale. And if it does, then great. If it doesn't, then the market heavily disagreed with you.
I was telling my parents last night about the whole phenomenon of games getting a bunch of 10s on Metacritic or something like that. And then, like, different from straight up review bombing, where people are like, you know, with Pokemon or Death Stranding or whatever, where people just straight up are review bombing. But when when someone leaves a 1 or a 0 because they're like, well, the game's actually probably worth a 7, but everybody's giving it a 10. So I'm trying to just even it out so that it's a 7. So that, like, everyone should agree that exactly my point of value is like exactly right. But like, that's just not that's not accurate. And that's not really fair to the system. That's not how it works. Because then people are going to give it 10s to outweigh it so that it'll be a 7, at the same time. It's dumb.
Right. And it's kind of weird how, like, in a way, people understand that the market isn't what you personally make it.
Mm-hmm.
It's what us as a consensus of paying customers in this like niche, right?
Yeah.
What we make it.
Mm-hmm.
They understand that when it's like a review, right? If a game site, if IGN gives a game a 4 that everybody else is giving an 8, they're like, yo, what's going on? The market disagrees with you here.
Yeah, right.
But they don't do that when they are the IGN that gave a game a 4 in their head mentally and said, this game's not worth $60,
Yep.
But everybody else is like, I paid my $60 and I'm happily playing it right now.
Yep.
So
yeah. Next comment. Let's do this thing. 7. Hello. Says, I'm glad I'm not the only one who hates Leon. He was way too full of himself. Yes. Hop at least had an arc where he realized that he didn't need to live in his brother's shadow his whole life and was allowed to be his own person and make mistakes every once in a while. Hop started as the annoying rival, but ended as a friend. Leon was, still is, and always will be a dick. Anyway, serious time.
I read his comment, and I was like, I wonder how he's going to handle it. Is he going to say it? Is he going to...
Yeah, it's family friendly enough, close enough. It's just being a Richard, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, serious time. The whole 200 plus added Pokemon thing. I agree that people need to chill since there's ways of getting them even without paying. I also don't get why people are suddenly realizing DLC is a thing. If the expansion pass situation was announced for literally any other game, it wouldn't have even been news because that's just what modern gaming is like.
See, even though that's the thing. It's not even just what modern gaming is, and it's weird. Like, because I don't like people don't like giving Nintendo and Nintendo adjacent companies credit for innovating on something for better or worse.
Yeah.
Pokemon has been doing DLC since 1998. Sorry to tell you, they've been doing it for forever. So like here, just like this is status quo, but they're saving you money this time.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And effort, because you don't have to play through the whole thing again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even The Witcher 3 has paid DLC, and CD Projekt Red is considered one of the most consumer-friendly companies. Heck, Smash Bros. Ultimate will have multiple expansion passes now, and people are actually looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. And it's not like Sword and Shield are incomplete games, as some members of the fandom want to believe. Yes, improvements can always be made to the franchise as a whole, not just the specific generation, but the base game still gave us the exactly the same experience we've been having for the past 20 years now, and even added quality of life improvements, which I still believe, if all the Pokemon were included, wouldn't have been a problem because it never was.
And that's the thing that's the most frustrating about this, because people are so like wish-washy with it, right? Where it's like at the beginning there with Pokemon Let's Go, that got announced, and they're like, just give us Pokemon but on the Switch, just give us that, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, and they give us Pokemon but on the Switch. They're like, no, but like give us Breath of the Wild but Pokemon but on the Switch, It's like dude,
yep,
you just wanted Pokemon.
Just wanted Pokemon,
and you got it, but
it's true.
Now you're complaining about that.
Yep. I mean, and yeah, I have thoughts. In fact, people crying about tree textures and mouse cursors would have thought Sword and Shield was Game of the Year if all the innocent creatures whose life energy they previously imprisoned in a PC were able to be copied over to a newer, shinier PC, or the strong creatures they'd been artificially enhancing for years could continue to be forced to fight for them.
True.
At least the wild area showed innovation, and is something I'm very happy to see they're building on for the DLC. I also believe Game Freak wouldn't have been pushed to do that if they just released a third version or spent valuable R&D time on recreating 1,000 Pokemon at once. The series is finally showing that there's potential for growth, for change. It's taking those first few baby steps toward becoming that massive open-world Breath of the Wild style game everyone expected all of a sudden. And that's why I'm excited for the expansion pass, because it gives us a glimpse to the future of Pokemon, a future with endless possibilities now. On a less ranty / idealistic note, every time someone mentions the Reggies, I think of Reggie Fils-Aimé, and it just tickles me thinking of him having a Galarian form, because I just imagine him wearing a deer stalker, smoking a pipe, and surrounded by unknown, going around solving murders. Same here, though. Anytime somebody says Reggie, talking about the Reggies, I also think of our boy Reg.
My best pal, my best friend Reggie. See, that's you messed up, man. You messed up. You should have.
I know.
You should have been a part of this earlier, so you could have been in that video.
I mean, I'm still
followed you on the Twitter.
Yeah, I'm still not a brand ambassador though, so I don't.
Yeah, but you still could have been in the video, and he would have followed you because of that, man.
I suppose so. Yep, we would have been
messed up.
Real buds in real life.
Should have went back in the time and been in the video.
True, but yes, all these things that I'm on literally the same page for all of this. Everything that was just said.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about it. Like everything that I saw about like in this game. And again, I've been saying this for forever, and not even in the like I told you so kind of way. Yeah. But like I literally got berated by these same people for saying like I want Pokemon to be different, right? They're like, no, just give us the same Pokemon, like the same. And I can prove it because these are people with accounts that have names that are searchable in my comment section that on one hand said, just let Pokemon be Pokemon. You don't need to change it and blah, blah. And then on the other, once Pokemon Sword and Shield is out, Pokemon needs to change. Pokemon didn't evolve enough, blah, blah. Yep. It's like, it's like what do you want? And like playing through Pokemon Sword and Shield, I saw a lot of glimpses because as somebody that has somewhat of an understanding of how game design works, I knew that they weren't going to overnight make Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
The Zelda team didn't do that. And Zelda's a 30-year-old property. It took them decades, literally. Even if we remove Breath of the Wild, it took them, a decade and a half to go, or no, just like it was like a decade to go from the original, almost 2 decades to go from the original Zelda to Ocarina of Time.
It's like 1985.
To like
1999 or something. Yeah. So 1.5, more or less.
Yeah. So it took them that long to make that transition. And then another decade and a half to go from the Ocarina formula to Breath of the Wild. Yeah. So like, they still got a decade or so, if we're trying to use Breath of the Wild as this benchmark. It's kind of weird that like a lot of people try, like the internet likes to assume that innovation can be co-opted just by thinking about it. Just saying like, well, Microsoft did it, so Nintendo should be able to do it. It's like, yeah, but Microsoft was a computer engineering company. Like that's their whole MO. Of course, they're better at Sony at, better than Sony at doing networking and stuff like that. So it's just weird. And also even Sony was more than just a video game company. They're a technology company. So they have infrastructure in places that Nintendo does not. And just wanting to do something is not enough to get it done. You need capital. You need your investors to also want you to do it. Developers to want to do it, So it's like, it's more than just saying like, well, everybody else does said thing. It's like, it just takes time and effort, dude. And let them have that time and put in that effort. All you can do is let it be known that you want that thing. And it doesn't take being toxic to let them know it.
True. Good old Pokemon. It'll be good stuff.
It's a ranty episode, dude.
You know what? But that's what we need right now. That's what the world needs. Except for anybody who's stopped listening to the podcast by now, who fell off and was like, sorry guys.
Sorry about it. Because
I just went blurry all of a sudden.
I think most times with stuff like that, and just like this is too political. Really what they're saying is like, this is not what I agree with.
Right. So it's true. But yeah, that's all the comments from your video that we pulled. Yeah. Let's I made a video just talking about Nintendo Direct.
What are your thoughts on your video? What do you think?
I'm glad I mentioned this to you. With all the Dante stuff ahead of time, I was like, I'll just throw in some Devil May Cry stuff while I'm talking about Smash things. And I was like, nah.
Maybe no.
So, I put in Devil May Cry stuff in saying maybe they'll talk about Devil May Cry SE or whatever it is. But I took it out of that, so I'm glad about that. I don't know. Yeah, it's just made a video, and there it is.
There it is. Predictions and whatnot.
So here's some comments. So this one's not really related to the video, but somebody put it, and I was like, oh yeah, I should. New Yorker Schnabeltier, something like that, maybe, says, it's a shame you don't show your face anymore. Makes it more personal on this channel. First of all, here's my face here. Look at that. Fun times.
True. And also, we didn't it was weird that you also didn't. But we don't have it's not mandated for us.
I did reply to the comment, and I told them it's since a little before Christmas and continuing into the end of January has just been the busiest month of the most time. My parents are in town, which is great, but also that means they were actually staying with us for a little while. And also my anniversary and Christmas and all that stuff. So all that to say, whenever I first can, I will get that back going. But also knowing that it matters is incentive to do it, because otherwise I was like, does anybody really care? I don't know.
That's literally the only reason why I started doing it, was because people were like, oh, what's up, man? I'm like, all right, cool, we'll do it. And then I started doing it, and then stuff, freaking the green screen situation, lighting's weird and all that stuff, and I was like, this is more doing it there. And then figured that out by doing the whole set thing. But now it's just a thing of time. At first, the reason why, a big reason why I wanted to get all the equipment and do filming is because I thought in theory it would save me time because it's less editing.
Yeah.
In theory. But in reality, it's not less time, because you got to set up and you got to film, and it's more things that you got to take in.
And then making mistakes, recording it and stuff.
That in and of itself doubles, because you can't just get the line right. You have to get your mannerisms right. And it's crap, I freaking looked over here when I was looking at the camera, or I wasn't in focus. There's so many more variables that go wrong, and you can't jump into pre-existing lines the same way. That's a very deliberate decision you have to make, where it's okay, I'm gonna jump in for video versus on audio, because in audio I can mess up mid-sentence and cut it out and jump back in, and everything's fine. But video, it's a very noticeable, oh, that's a jump cut, he messed up here and he jumped in. So it just takes way more time and effort, which I mean I do, and I'll continue to do. But this week, the reason why I didn't do it is I use to transfer the footage from my camera to my computer. I had this USB to 3.0, freaking SD card thing, because my SD slot, for whatever reason, doesn't work with certain SD cards. So I use that. It's broken. I forget, somebody stepped on it. It's gone. So I had to buy another one.
Man.
And I did that. Which is also how I upload Smash Brothers replays and stuff like that. So the day that I recently uploaded another Smash Brothers thing, and that was basically me testing that out. So in theory, my next video will have camera.
It
really just depends on how much time I have. Because if I didn't do that, if I didn't do all off cam, my video would have been significantly because I would have had to transfer the footage a different way.
True. But yeah, that's that. But good call out in any case. But now to the actual video related stuff. Broken Fiction says, why would they not just save the Smash and Pokemon stuff for the next big direct if there's going to be one this month? And there were some comments on this too that talked about it. So you guys already talked about some of the comments, but I was like, I'll just bring that here too to talk about with us. The main thing being, among other things, there would have been maybe too much content and hard to pace, because lots of big announcements. And also then we couldn't have learned how to binary counting and that kind of stuff. Because you could tell Sakurai was just I'm just going to take however much time I want. I'll keep it paced nicely. But I'll tell you guys about some stuff if I want to tell you about stuff. Let me count all the Fire Emblem games.
I think that's the value of that format, is that it turns him into an influencer, where he's allowed to show personality, and it's more than just an ad.
Yeah.
I think that just on a top-down level, the reason why you would do Smash Brothers and Pokemon separately is because you're able to flesh that stuff out more. Like if you spend the same amount of time on Smash and Pokemon in one direct, the direct's going to be an hour and 25 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And people don't want that.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I think too the alternative is if they don't put in as much of it, they have less of it, and but like a lot of, as you kept going through the Smash Direct of Fire Emblem and stuff like that, I think it kind of justified the character maybe more than it would, like the more you see of it, they're more like, okay, yeah, actually that is going to be pretty cool, or those kinds of feelings and stuff. Whereas if you have less of it, then maybe it's harder to kind of come to terms with it in the same way.
You just have more time to be mad.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's smart to, and if they don't need to, the only reason they need to do a direct whenever they do one is they're like, okay, we need to have these games announced by this amount of time ahead of the release of it so that we can get marketing rolling and all that kind of stuff. So if they don't need to have whatever the big announcements are starting marketing this week, whatever, then they don't need them. So they'll just do them later. But yeah, it gives everything more room to breathe, gives things moments to be in the spotlight for longer and stuff like that too. So, and it means that maybe we'll have big announcements in the direct and not Smash announcements, which we talked about earlier. Mega Man says, I don't think there will be a January direct. I like a lot of the points you have made, Parker. Thank you. And the games seem logical, but I think they will wait until they can show off their two major IPs coming into this year in better detail, Animal Crossing and Zelda, then load everything else around it. That's also if Zelda does come out this year, of course. I'm just hoping for a Mario Golf because that's always looked fun to play and never played one.
I sort of agree. I mean, I think that's why I very specifically like entitling the video and bringing the video up to you when I was like, yo, you should do this.
Yeah.
Was it's first direct. Yeah. Because we're going to have a first direct.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's going to happen. I don't know whether it'll be in January. It's possible. If they want to continue on this cadence, which once it becomes a cadence, I feel like that's when they're like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
It could potentially be next week. Because so far they've had a direct of some kind every week, or a direct, because this technically wasn't a direct, it was a presentation.
Yeah.
So like they might do one next week and then the week after that, but there's no guarantee. It could be in February, it could be in March for all we know. But it's going to happen at some point.
Yep. I would think, I mean, the latest I would think probably going into February, it seems pretty for sure into February, just because they don't have, maybe there are no first party games coming out between Animal Crossing and
they could have them and
June
announce
or whatever.
In a tweet.
Yeah.
Or in just a one-off trailer or whatever. Like it just like they're marketing, especially now, like with Smash Brothers, like with the how they did the DLC and all that stuff. Yeah. And we used to think like, oh, we didn't see the DLC, so there's going to be a Nintendo Direct, and they're like, nah, we're just going to do like the Joker presentation trailer, right? I think they like keeping their marketing hard pinned down, because they want it to be a surprise. They don't want it to be something that YouTubers are like, hey, this is going to happen on this day. Mark your calendars, right? They want to be able to even surprise them,
True. But yeah, good stuff. I really hope Zelda's going to be 2020. That's all. If it's not, it'll still be a great game in the later year. But I just want to play it because I love it. Jordan DeBest says,
you don't know if you love it yet. It could be garbage.
I will probably love it anyway, even if it were garbage, because it's Link. It's like, same way. It's like you with Pokemon. That kind of thing.
Pokemon games.
Nope. Garbage. You love every Pokemon thing you've ever touched. That's all.
All right.
Yep. I don't know. Jordan DeBest says, I honestly think Odyssey 2 is more likely than a Wii U port, in my opinion. I think Nintendo is done with Wii U ports for the most part. Besides that one that comes out tomorrow, which was today, which is for you guys yesterday, Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Yeah.
Besides that one, I think Wii U ports are down to one a year. I think we're going to get a few 3DS ports now.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think there's any reason to say that, you know?
Yeah.
I think eventually, like, I don't think that they're like, okay, we're going to do only a couple of years. I think they're going to keep doing them until they don't have them anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're pretty much like also fillers for seasons where they're like, all right, well, this game we want to come out, like this new game we want to come out here. We don't have anything for April. So I don't know, we'll just put that one out in April, you know, that kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. I do think, I mean, an Odyssey 2 is likely to happen in general, but also just from hearing people talk about it that are the kind of people that normally know things, not to say that they always do, but like on the last NVC, last week's, I guess, Per Schneider pretty much was like, okay, but we all know 3D Mario Worlds and Pikmin 3 are coming. Like it was, you know, and like oftentimes when he said stuff like that, it's been actual things. But nevertheless, yeah, I don't know. I don't think.
Also, like, where's her name? I forgot her name.
Oh wow, how did you do that to me? Yeah, I know exactly. Emily
Rogers.
Rogers.
Emily Rogers was like, we're going to get two
right.
Wii U ports this year, which I mean, she could be wrong.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But she's right a lot.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know if they're done with Wii U ports. I think we'll at least get one more on top of the one that we already have this year. I think we'll at least get two this year.
Yep.
3DS ports, I don't know. I don't even know.
I feel like I think the problem with 3DS ports is that how much extra work they would have to do unless they do more like a Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate kind of a thing where it's like it's an upgraded, but it's pretty much, you know, like similar textures, I guess, to the 3DS port. It's, I mean, better than it, but I think, you know, I just don't know.
I just don't think there's anything to definitively say either way on that.
Yeah, right.
Because it's not like they started porting 3DS games or anything, right? So I don't know.
Yep.
I feel like whatever happens is what happens because we got a Wii port coming out this year.
Oh yeah, that's true. That one should be fun. And then the last comment from Gamer Academy 33. My thoughts. Smash will be at the first big direct this year. The new Fighters Pass will go until December 2021, meaning 3 fighters for the next 2 years. So for this year, I'm thinking show one soon, E3, September Direct, or Game Awards.
Leaks. No, I don't know if he commented this after.
No, yeah, he commented after. So I think he was saying, okay, so the new Fighter Pass is going to go until December 2021. As that's a baseline. We know that.
Okay, all right. I was about to say, how do you know?
Meaning 3 fighters for the next 2 years. So for this year, I'm thinking show one soon, E3, and September Direct or Game Awards. No chance we see Breath of the Wild 2 until E3. Last year, they didn't even show Luigi's Mansion 3 in the first Direct. I think they'll want to give us more games and not have a huge holiday title steal the fame. Please, can we have Pikmin 4? I'm fine with some of the things that are said. I think the vibe of it is kind of the whole like, well, here's what's going to happen because I know. And I'm like,
I think you're wrong about everything.
Calm down a little bit.
I'm right about everything that I'm going to say, though.
But nevertheless, yeah, I mean, you're right. They didn't show Luigi's Mansion 3 until, I mean, they had announced Luigi's Mansion 3 in the September Direct in 2018 and then showed it again at E3. So those were the only 2 times that we saw. We didn't see it in the February Direct last year. But that said, I mean, I think also typically Zelda has they don't have to do anything in any specific way, but typically Zelda is something that's shown more often and has kind of a different hype cycle than a Luigi's Mansion would. Yeah, I would say.
Like Zelda, they toured that game around. a lot more,
exactly.
And, like it showed up at more places.
Yep.
Luigi's Mansion got announced. It got a short trailer, and then it got a little bit longer trailer, and then it's like, hey, this game's still coming out, and then it came out.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Yep. Breath of the Wild 2, I can see, like, if they announce it at the beginning, I could see a Pokemon, like, cycle for this thing, where they announce it in February, and then we see it again in freaking March, and then we see it in May, and, you know, and then it gets to a certain point where we're seeing it every month until it's out.
Yep. So, all that stuff. But, and then on Pikmin 4, if we do see Pikmin 3, I think I can't imagine that they wouldn't mention Pikmin 4. Like,
yeah,
that
it feels
seems...
like if you're going to do... Well, I don't know if they would say... If anything, I could see them doing like Pikmin 3's coming in. Also, a
We're
Metroid
working on
situation.
Yes.
Pikmin 4 is in development.
I think that's exactly what would make sense.
Yeah. Because like otherwise, why would you even do a Pikmin 3?
Yeah.
If you're not planning to continue something like that, why put it on this way? It doesn't really make sense.
Yep. So there you go. That's all the comments from my video. Now we got a whole bunch of Q&A from you guys. Let's do it. Y'all ready?
Hey.
From the YouTube community. Blah, 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 blah. You can ask us questions. We'll give answers because that's the way we roll. YouTube community. Marky Mark asks, will you be playing the new story expansion for Fire Emblem? Any predictions on how long it should last? Fire Emblem Three Houses was my first Fire Emblem game, and it instantly became my game of the year. Can't wait for more.
I'm considering it. I kind of want to, but at the same time, I'm also playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and like 2 RPGs for me is too much. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So probably won't happen. But at least I'm thinking about it. That's progress. That's character progression.
That is character growth. I'd love to play it. I think have so much backlog stuff and like games I got for Christmas that I'm like, I want to get these knocked out. So I probably won't touch it until then, unless I see other people playing it and it's like, wow, it's just even that great. But I'd guess it's probably like, I don't know, 20 hours, 15 hours of gameplay I could see from this kind of thing. It also depends on how it depends on how you play. If you play it like me, probably. Yeah. But if you play it like, I don't know, other people, because there's people, right. There's people that finish the first game in like 20 hours or something like that, which is like you let the game do everything automatically for you. Yeah, you were like, I don't know, 45 maybe or something like that, which I mean, I was like 75 maybe.
Yeah, like I put some time into like the other stuff, and I didn't like automatically go through the battles and stuff like that.
No, I didn't automatically. I didn't.
But I wasn't like going
anything.
through all. I wasn't like paying a whole bunch of attention to every character dialogue situation, and it was like I care about this character, so I'm going to read what they have to say. But most of the house, I don't give a crap.
Yep.
So.
I just, if there was a notification on my monastery map, I went and checked it out and all that. And then if like in training people, like was very specific about how I wanted to train people and all that, like looked at things. It's weird because I'm not like that with a number of other things in life, but obviously there's some aspect of me that likes to just be really strategic about how to do that kind of stuff.
Only time I'm strategic is when I think it matters beyond a single player thing. Like Pokemon, I'm super like that.
Yeah.
But Fire Emblem, it's like I just want to kind of get through the game. So like I'm gonna try to like do that the best that I possibly can, and not have to like grind a lot or like do anything unnecessary because.
It's funny because we talked about like the difficulty of the combat or lack thereof or any of that kind of thing. And I realized just now that, because you were saying it was like combat pretty easy, straightforward, kind of brainless. You just do some things. The strategy for me isn't how am I going to win this? It's how can I do this whole thing without being hit a single time?
Without being hit?
Pretty much.
Like, how am I going to do this without anybody dying?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's obviously part of it, but I realize, like, even in, like, as I'm playing Divinity Original Sin and stuff, that's pretty much my goal is, like, he goes before this person, and, like, if I really think about it, it's like, they could hit that person, and it won't matter, because I could just hit them the next turn or whatever, but it's just really fun to feel super OP by being like, y'all didn't even touch me that whole time. Like I, like got all your physical armor down and I knocked you down so that you had to skip a turn and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. That's the fun for me. It's like
not doing that.
Min-maxing it and stuff.
I wasn't even considering that was a possibility. The thing for me was like, all right, nobody can die. And that's it. Unless like I didn't really care about them, in which case I was like, that's fine.
Yep.
But like, that was the extent of it for me. Where like I don't want anybody to die.
Good times. Nobody died. Sam Diaz, not quite a question, just a fun thing. Fans vote Fire Emblem Three Houses for Game of the Year. Also fans get mad about another Fire Emblem character. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I
got it.
get it. I get it. I kind of feel that, but at the same time, like, I can't really talk because there's what 9 Pokemon in Smash Brothers. But at the same time, I think that 9 Pokemon being in Smash Brothers is warranted because Pokemon is the second best-selling game franchise of all time.
Wait, okay, it's the biggest franchise. What's the biggest selling game franchise then?
Game?
If Pokemon's second, yeah.
It's Pokemon, and then it's Mario.
Oh, you said Pokemon was the second. So first one is second. Mario. Okay.
Yeah, first is Mario, and then it's Pokemon.
Cool. Nice.
Pokemon as a property,
right?
The most successful property,
right? Yes.
Meaning merchandise, movies, books, all that crap, all bundled into one thing. But Mario, like on a core like sales level for the franchise, it's Mario and Pokemon. And then it's like freaking Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, not surprised.
But also Mario's like separated into like 2 different things, kind of. So it's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
It is weird.
But yeah, that's why it's like I'm fine with a whole bunch of Mario characters, and I'm fine with a whole bunch of Mario characters. It's weird that that there's a lot of Fire Emblem characters, but also it's not weird because Sakurai is freaking making this game, and if he wants to be like, I'm making this game, and you know what? I like Fire Emblem. That's fine. Because I do that. I'm like, I know that a 3rd Pokemon video in a row is not going to do as well as and I know it's more topical. It's not like I know that, that's not what everybody wants to watch, but that's what I want to make. So that's what I'm going to make, So I get that, man. I feel that vibe, man.
That's true.
Respect.
Questions from Discord. Lord Commander Grimhane asks, when will the Parker Direct happen? It's already begun.
It's been happening all of 2019.
All of 2019? Oh, wow.
Yeah, because that's when you made your debut.
That is when I made my debut. It's almost been a whole year. I mean, it's been more than a year now since I've been on the podcast. Yeah, almost a year since the video.
Yeah. And just think, man, just think of how much better you got at making videos.
None better.
That's not even true. It's not even
no,
true.
It's not. No, honestly, so my video this week, again, I had like no time for a while now. But my video this week was by far the fastest that I've ever made a video, just because I just didn't have that much time to work with. But the whole thing took me just considerably less time, and I was very happy about that. I was like, wow.
I think like, as far as like when push comes to shove, that sort of thing. Like I think the more videos you make, given the time, the more time it will take because you have the time. So that's the time you're going to put into it.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the amount of time that's absolutely necessary, the more you do it, the faster you'll be able to make a video. Like if I had to and I didn't make a video the night before, I could make a video I've done it. Yeah. I can make a video day of and have it up by 4 if I had to. But I don't want to do that because I want to put as much time as I possibly can.
Indeed.
But yeah, like I knew that, man. I had the vision. Oh no, I'm like, nah, man, you got it, man. You got it.
True. Sorry T said, AJ, how much do you love my suddenly relevant emojis? And then there was an emoji.
So many freaking emotes. He has so many emotes.
Skills, that's what you got. Lizdrin said, why would Sakurai do this to us? Because he loves us and he loves to surprise us. Mostly the latter.
Sometimes you just gotta put in one for you, man.
That's true.
Like Sarah Dici, who's a YouTuber. He's like, she has this whole thing where it's like 2 for you, 1 for me, or something like that. 1 for you, 2 for me, or one of those things. Sure. She says something to that effect. Somebody that watches her videos more than me will be able to correct me in the comments if that happens. But she's like a tech YouTuber. Well, yeah, she's a tech YouTuber. But that's that concept, man. He's like, hey, I gave you guys freaking Joker. I gave you Cloud. All right, I gave you Banjo and Kazooie. I'm putting a Fire Emblem character in there. You're not going to say nothing about it.
True.
How he feels, Again, respect.
He's pretty good friends with Kojima, right?
Yeah.
Death Stranding isn't it's not a Sony owned IP. Like it's just a Kojima IP.
I mean, technically, yes.
That would be super funny. I mean, because like it, It's not. I mean, even a Sony-owned IP is
a baby. Put the baby in.
But like even a Sony-owned IP isn't out of the realm of literal possibility. It's just very unlikely because just the way Sony typically operates. Yeah, they don't really. Microsoft one is a lot more likely. I mean, obviously, it already kind of happened with Banjo. I mean,
and also, I mean, Cuphead. Which I don't know what the legality is. I don't know if they own it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Just to say. Moving on. Chikapo says, what's the worst thing you've ever pre-ordered? And he said, no, I don't regret pre-ordering the Smash DLC at all. I can't tell if that's sarcastic or not.
I mean, I don't regret, because again, like, I think that, and I debated it, but again, I think that Pokemon thing's going to happen again, so I don't want to do it. But I was going to make my video about, like, it's your fault that, like, if you regret pre-ordering the DLC, it's because you pre-ordered the DLC.
You're right. Yeah.
Like, we didn't know what the characters are going to be. So nothing says that any of those characters are going to be characters that you wanted. So pre-ordering the DLC needed to be with the rationale that it's like a similar one to mine, I think. Yeah. Where it's like, I'm getting it because I want to experience fighting and learning these characters and stuff like that. That's the value in it. Not who the character is, but the fact that more characters are being added is the value.
No, I remember when they first announced that there was the Fighter's Pass, I was talking to Mitch about it, and he was like, well, yeah, I'm just going to get it. And I was like, cool. And he was like, you're not just going to get it? I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be playing the game at that point. So, like, no, I guess not. Like, maybe I'll buy them individually, but, like, I'm not going to just spend $25 just because I'm hyped right now about the game. I'll just spend it later, I guess, theoretically. Yeah. And lo and behold,
I think that's the best way to do it. Like, if you're not in it for the game, then don't buy the DLC.
So what's the worst thing you've ever pre-ordered?
The worst thing I've ever pre-ordered.
I'll go ahead and say mine just because I can think about it.
I have one, but I don't.
Not a ton. I haven't pre-ordered a whole lot of things. Most of the time I just wait and I'll get them after the fact. But I did pre-order Mario Tennis Aces, and it wasn't bad, but it also, like, didn't set my world on fire, because I really was in it mostly for the single player stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll play some multiplayer, and barely did it all.
Oh, I know what it is.
But yeah, probably Mario Tennis Aces.
Sonic Forces, dude. Because, like, for me, it's like, I don't have, like, these stringent expectations for the games I play. I'm not like, I spent $60 on this, so I better at least get 60 hours out of this. Or whatever. Like, most games that I buy, I play for max 10 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
But Sonic Forces, and that wasn't even 60. I was like 40. It was like less
I think
than
it's $40
from Amazon when they still did the $20 or whatever. So, like, I got it for like $30 or something like that, and I still was like, why did I buy this? And it was like, most of it was for content because I wanted to, like, make a video about it in the same way I did Kirby Star Allies, because before that came out, I was like, this game doesn't look great. And then everybody was like, you're wrong, you didn't blah blah blah, and then the game came out and made a video where it's like, still doesn't look great.
Yep,
I told you all. And then with Sonic Forces, I was like, yo, this game, man, gonna do this thing. And then it did that, and it wasn't like, it just felt bad because it wasn't even worthy of making content, which was the worst thing. Because it's like, there's a formula, right? It's like either a game needs to be good or really bad to be good.
Yeah.
It's not worth making content for a game that's a 4, right? Like, that game needs to be a 2.
Yep.
For me, like, at least for me to be like, see, this game
at least meme worthy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So for that video, it was just like, nah, like, this game was worth it, right? So yeah, Sonic Forces. My biggest regret, even more so than Kirby, because Kirby made its money back.
Mega Man asks, Diddy Kong Racing or Mario Kart?
I mean, it's kind of unfair.
It very much, like, is. If we mean Mario Kart 64,
exactly,
that's a different question.
If we're talking just Mario Kart 64 versus Diddy Kong Racing, I'd say Diddy Kong. But overall, I would say Mario Kart, because, like, mechanically, Mario Kart 8 feels way better than
if they I would like for Diddy Kong Racing to also come back and get like a new imagining of what Diddy Kong Racing would be now next to Mario Kart, and have them be kind of separate, entities or whatever would be cool. But if it's just between the two, I'm pretty much with you. Diddy Kong Racing for 64. Although I've barely played Mario Kart 64 and I haven't played Diddy Kong Racing, so I'm only saying that for what I know it is, more so than actually, like.
Mario Kart 64 for me was basically block fort the game. Like, I literally did nothing else. I mean, obviously, like, I played it for on the races and stuff like that when I first got it. But it eventually just became not battle mode the game, specifically block fort the game. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything else. So yeah, I think Diddy Kong Racing, better game.
Yep. There you go. And then Mega Man also asks, milkshakes or smoothies? #FanaticFoods.
Ooh, see, this is a thing. I don't think. No, you weren't in there. Okay, this is a tangent. So I was in Bob's Street, as I do when I have time. True. And there's another guy that was in his game or whatever. His name was like Porker or something like that. And it was like, is this our Parker? And I was like, I doubt it. I think he's probably playing like freaking Divinity Original Sin or something.
You wouldn't be wrong.
Exactly. So that was the thing that happened. But I freaking got Five Guys, man. And Five Guys, like, their whole thing is like that do you have Five Guys? There's Five Guys in freaking Tennessee.
Sure is. It's good.
So like everybody's like, dude, so expensive, but like
it's an inordinate amount of food.
They're like, exactly, and they're like just getting out ahead of it. They're like, we're not going to nickel and dime you with toppings. We're going to let you get whatever topping you want, but we're going to price it ahead of time for what we're comfortable with that costing. And get everything on this thing.
Man, now I want Five Guys.
No, it's great. It's great. So like, I would never freaking put everything on the burger because like, there's just certain things that I'm like, nah, man, I'm not down with mushrooms.
I definitely do it. Yeah, that's true. I do the like all of the regular, because there's like the different, the like whatever it's called, the everything, and then there's like and these other things. I do everything and then a couple of the other things. Because I agree, I'm not a huge mushroom guy in general, but especially mushrooms on burgers. Like, I'm fine with mushrooms in some kinds of things. Like, I would have to think about it.
I'm not down, man.
They're fine. I'm sautéed mushrooms. I'm down with, like, in like stir fry or whatever. Those are good. I'm down with that. But as far as like slimy mushrooms or whatever, like, it's fine on pizza if it's with lots of other things.
I'm not really. Well, it depends on what it is. Like, I don't really like bacon that much or at all, really. So like, that's something that's like, because once you put bacon on something, the whole thing tastes like bacon.
I mean, yeah.
So like, that's the thing that's something I'm like, nah, man. But stuff like mushrooms, like if it's already on there, I'm gonna eat it. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's not as like invasive a flavor as black olives are.
Right.
Whatever.
So for stuff like that, like, I'm not like super picky in that regard. But yeah, like, if I have the option to be like, take this off, I'm going to say take it off.
Yeah.
But I won't take it off. So yeah, I got
milkshakes or smoothies.
Exactly. I was trying to get to it, but that opened a whole can of worms about different stuff, as usually happens. But yeah, I got a milkshake and I freaking got everything on the milkshake and it was great, man. It was a good time. But like, with that said, it's still milkshakes. You thought I was going to say smoothies, but I didn't.
I'd probably go like 9 times out of not 9 times out of 10, but like, there would be more times that I'd say smoothie than I would milkshake. Like, there's sometimes that I'd be like, oh, I want a milkshake right now, and I don't want a smoothie.
Because I feel like you can do more to the milkshake than you can a smoothie.
Yeah, I think.
Like, a lot of smoothies is like, you can't really get into the topping situation, right? Like, I got, like I said, on the milkshake, I got like everything on the milkshake, man. I got like peanut butter, I got like Reese's, I got like M&Ms, I got like freaking cherries and stuff. I got so many stuff, man.
Yep.
But a smoothie is like, I mean, if I'm going to get a smoothie, it's either going to be like a freaking strawberry banana smoothie or like an orange smoothie or something like that, right? But like, what can I do to that?
I don't know. Throw some raspberries in there, make it delicious. Yeah, I think I think like there's times, I'll put it this way. If you were like, hey, you want a milkshake? I'd be like, yeah, sure. And they were like, oh, never mind. We don't have a milkshake. We just have smoothies. I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But if it was like, but hang on. But if it was like, oh, I'm gonna give you a smoothie, and I'd be like, okay, I'm ready for a smoothie now. And then you're like, oh, never mind. We only have a milkshake. I'd be like, okay, well, I was kind of in the mood for a smoothie now. So like, you know what I mean? Where like one of them, smoothies, just like that's always fine. Even if there's a higher high for milkshakes, I think smoothies like a baseline of like, I'm always down for a smoothie. That's what I'll say. Next question though, still Fanatics food, so don't even worry about it. From Che Capo.
Burgers.
I mean, sushi's great. Don't get me wrong, but burgers are just so
I feel
good.
like the only time I eat sushi is when I'm with somebody that's like, yo, let's get sushi. I'm like, sushi's not really something I opt for, but I'm not against it.
I mean,
burgers, I'm like, see, burgers is like I think my default is probably pizza. Where it's like if somebody's like, yo, what do you want to eat? And I can't think of what I want to eat specifically, it's going to be like pizza. But burgers is pretty close to that.
Yeah, I'm with your.
And sushi's very far from being a default for me. But
I think like I've had good sushi. But I also I like wasabi a lot. So like the sushi ends up tasting like wasabi with a little bit of other stuff, you know. So even like the best sushi I've had is like still quite good, but doesn't come close to like the best burgers that I have, where it's like there's some bad burgers, but like some really like, wow, this has made my day. I definitely want a burger for dinner now.
the thing is like because of how my relationship with sushi is, where it's like it's only when people are like, yo, I'm like, I don't really know where I get good sushi from, you know. It's like I'd rather not even roll the dice there. I
mean, we've gotten Kroger sushi so many times. Well, you guys don't have Kroger up there. You have equivalent Turkey Hill, right?
Oh yeah. They have freaking. I don't think I would trust that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the kinds of things that are in. Yeah, I mean, it's just sushi, you know.
I don't know.
It's fine.
Like,
it's not great. But
I feel like if somebody was like, "Yo, you want Turkey Hill sushi?" I'd be like, "No, I don't want to get sick."
There you go. That's what I've had. And then last one from Discord, Lord Commander Grimhane. For Arthur, who's a good boy? That's my dog. I put up a little video of him telling you guys to ask us questions. And Arthur is usually a good boy.
Usually.
And then moving on, how much GSP will AJ farm off Byleth players on the 28th? How much will Bob farm? And will Byleth inspire Parker to play more?
Okay, so this depends on if I'm like, I want to get a new character in Holy Smash, which is not really my thing, honestly. Only care about getting the characters that I care about. And because like that, to me, that's like the status symbol. It's like, I'm good enough with my character to say that it's on par with these freaking dweeps on Elite Smash. But I also don't like how toxic it is. So it's not worth getting characters that I don't care about on that level into Elite Smash. That said, if I decide that I'm going to get a new character in there, I think I'm going to be able to farm a couple million GSP for each character. But if I just play with like Pokemon Trainer and Inkling, because of how high their GSP already is, like 20,000, like that's the sad part. As far as Bob, I think Bob's going to lose 10,000 GSP.
True.
Which all things considered is not a lot. But.
Right. And will Byleth inspire me to play more? Because I would have to pay for it? No.
I mean, maybe not. You probably got gold points, man.
That's true.
That's how I bought the ones that I had to pay for, at least, was gold coins. Like
I think I only have like 300 gold coins right now. So
I think I currently have 300 gold coins right now.
Oh, I have 324 if I do remember
that's like
correctly.
half of it, and I'm like, all right, cool.
So, yep, we'll see. But yeah, probably not, just because I've already got other things. I just don't play online games, really, as we all are very aware. Questions from Twitter.
Other than freaking Marvel.
That's true. And Pokemon the one time
we ever played a freaking... But you barely played.
Oh,
like you were an accessory.
I was a decoy. I was substitute for a minute there. Yeah, that was bad. I mean, because I think I was only probably however many hours, not very many hours into the game. So I was probably like level 20 or something up against 5-star raids, which didn't go particularly well. Questions from Twitter. Our buddy Max. Hello, Max. Max Wright asks, Smash Bros. Is getting more DLC. Fire Emblem's expansion was detailed. Pokemon's expansions were announced, and I'm playing the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 expansion. Do you think Nintendo is doing DLC better than others? Are there games you think could benefit from DLC? Also, second question, feel free to leave this out. Picture your dream Switch release. Would it benefit from a season pass?
Okay. So to compartmentalize this, I think that on average, Nintendo does DLC significantly better than everybody else because they care about value more. But I think that there are good and bad examples of their DLC where they didn't get it right and ones where they just knocked it out of the park. I think the ones where they knocked it out of the park bring that average up a lot.
Yep.
I think on average, like if we look at all their DLC, it's fine, but they have really high points.
Yep.
Like freaking the original Mario Kart 8, which gave you half of the game in value for a sixth of the price, right?
Yeah.
Like that's unheard of.
Yep.
Where they're like, here's half of the game that you bought already, $11. You know?
I mean, or Xenoblade Chronicles, I think, is another good example. I mean, it's Ubisoft, but Mario plus Rabbids, that kind of thing. Like, I think there's plenty of good examples. There's other ones that are definitely. I made a whole DLC video, Max.
Yeah,
you may have watched that. I don't know.
Like Smash Brothers. I would say Smash Brothers is like on the lower end of that, where they do give you more content than like the average fighting game would. Yeah. Because they would still charge you around the same price, like $5 to $6 or $25 if you buy them all in bulk. Yep. That's like an average price for a fighter in a new game, but you're not buying music and stage and like all the stuff that you get with a Smash Bros. Character. So it's like more than average, but it's not as high above the average that the rest of the DLC that I would think of when I think of Nintendo specific DLC.
Probably also because a lot of them are licensed characters, so that makes it harder to.
Yeah, so like
that whole thing.
They're getting a commission.
Yeah, right.
They're getting a licensing fee.
Yep. So that kind of thing. But I think Nintendo is good. What about Picture's dream Switch release? Would it benefit from a season pass? I don't know exactly what Switch release. I mean, just Breath of the Wild 2, whatever. We'll say Breath of the Wild 2 for me. And I mean,
if they do like a freaking, like, if you're saying like the game that I would want most on Switch, like the Switch game announcement that I'm like, yo, that's dope. It would be like Pokemon, but Breath of the Wild. And like it would 100% benefit from like freaking put that out for $120, like it's worth. And then release $20 DLC. That's the region or whatever.
I mean, I think the assumption with DLC is that they got to a point where they're like, all right, this is as much as we can do for the base game, and they were like, oh, we want to do some more though. So like it's hard to think about it in this direction. I think that's definitely how like Nintendo and Nintendo adjacent companies think of it, where it's like we physically cannot fit the rest of this content in this game for whatever reason. For Pokemon, it's most likely like a logistics meets time, like deadline sort of situation. Where it's like they could have put the freaking Crown Tundra and all that stuff. They could have put that DLC in the game, but then the game wouldn't have came out until 2020. And that it wasn't going to work for Pokemon. I mean, or like even thinking of it in terms of like us writing. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Us writing scripts for a video or whatever. There's some times where it's like, I'll write the script and then I'm like, but there's like this tangent thing that I'd like to do, but it doesn't really fit the narrative of the video itself. And if I do, maybe it would detract from the video as it stands right now. So I could either do like a 2-minute addendum or just talk about it in the podcast. Is what
I have literally done the video equivalent of a Pokemon freaking Emerald edition to a thing. And a lot of times those videos do better than the last thing, where I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this base thing. Like, for instance, the best online multiplayer games on Switch, right?
Yeah.
I did that video. That video got, I don't know, like 10,000 views. And then you did best local multiplayer, and then it got like another 15,000 views or whatever, right? Like sometimes you don't got time to do everything all in one product. You got to split it up.
So there you go. But yeah, I think ideally, as long as they're doing them right, every game could benefit theoretically from DLC, as long as it's got the right approach going into it, you know, of like they make the full game and it feels like, yep, that's the full game. And then they're like, also, here's a little bit more. Is, you know, a rough thought. I'm sure there's maybe some cases where that doesn't play. Patrick Green asks, what are your predictions for the next 5 sword-based characters in Smash? Are we running out of swords?
All right, here it goes.
Hollow Knight, number 1.
Sure.
Yep.
Number 2, Swordbird. Because duh.
Yep.
Pokemon Sword.
Yep. So true.
Number 3, it's Sora. He has a sword.
Yeah,
his name sounds like Sora. Number 4?
Geralt.
Sure.
Yep.
And then number 5, Sakurai with a sword.
True. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I should have counted those. 1, 2, 3.
I think that was 5.
There you go. We got
and
5
if we're doing all 6, freaking Edelgard for number 6.
I think she's give
her a sword. You can make her do whatever you want. It's Fire Emblem. You can give her a sword.
Nope, not the way it works, y'all.
That's dumb.
Don't listen to AJ.
You can't give her a sword?
Liar. No, I'm sure you can give her a sword. Yeah.
What are you talking about? You can give her a sword?
Yeah, you can give her a sword. So there you go. There's that. I hope that answers your 6 things. Striker Excel. He said 5. I know. You're nice. I guess. Striker Excel. Besides Animal Crossing, what game would be the new system seller for the Nintendo Switch in 2020, and why? You can also choose a rumored game for 2020. Breath of the Wild 2. That's a cop-out. So I'm not going to say that one.
Mario Odyssey 2.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
That's also a cop-out.
I don't think... Okay, so let's just go with... Like, Pikmin 4 is feasible to happen. I don't think it's the system seller, though.
Yeah, it's not I mean, that's the thing. Like, saying besides Animal Crossing is just, like, such a weird...
I mean, but it's not a holiday game, because, you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's not, right? But it is, because it's out during the holiday.
I mean, yeah, true.
So, see, that's the thing. I just think it's always, like, it makes the question more, like, interesting, or the answer to the question more interesting, but it's just so much the obvious answer of what they intend to be the system seller for the year, because that's how well it's going to sell. Whereas, like, I don't know any other IP that Nintendo has that's not already accounted for. That could come out this year, other than the ones that we brought up that we also said were like cop-outs, like freaking Mario, Zelda, Pokemon.
Because I mean, any like new IP kind of thing, like they could do a like really cool Star Fox game, or a Metroid Prime trilogy, or a different Metroid game, any of those kinds of things, but they're not gonna sell. I mean, they could sell very well, but they wouldn't sell like, the same level as a Smash would.
15,000 people that see that game and they're like, yo, I'm buying a Switch now. That's something that you would call a system seller.
Yeah, right. So that's tricky for sure. I don't know, but we know 37 franchises that Nintendo hasn't used in a while.
We surely do.
Duncan asks, what are you guys' favorite anime? My Hero. My hero is so good.
Probably My Hero. My Hero or like freaking Naruto. But like Naruto's like a controversial pick because people there's so many filler or whatever, right? But I think that if anything, like Naruto's like one of the series that does that right. Because a lot of their filler is used to flesh out the world more. It's not just like random things about like Naruto goes on another adventure. It's like more stuff that's like, and here's what you didn't know about Jiraiya, you know, like about all the other characters.
Yeah. Which I think also the first season of Sword Art Online.
Never saw it.
It's good. It's like split up into 2 parts that are pretty distinct story arcs, but it's still technically 1 season. Maybe in Japan it's considered 2 seasons. I don't know, but over here it's 1 season. Who's to say? But it's good.
I heard people don't like that show. I heard that show is problematic.
People are polar about the second half of the first season. The second story arc is like
problematic.
I think so. So it's like either people are like, oh, I enjoyed it. I like the first half definitely a lot better.
Sister or whatever. Like
yeah.
Likes the sister or something.
No, it's his younger sister likes him, and that's like, and he doesn't. So whatever. But in any case, that also it is problematic. But that's not the actual story arc. But that's like obviously a subplot going on.
And that's specifically in the second season.
It's the second half of the first season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. It's like, I don't know I think it's like 32 episodes maybe. And it's like 16 episodes of the first story arc where he's like in the video game. And it's just like him being in the video game, doing video gamey things. And then things happen or whatever. And then it's different in the second bit. Also, Sword Art Online Brotherhood. I've only watched a little bit of it so far.
I didn't know
but
it's a thing. Wait,
it's good.
So is it like freaking Full Metal Alchemist?
Oh, sorry. I meant to. I always said Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is what I meant to say, not Sword Art Online.
You said so. I was like, wait,
I did. Yeah. Mistakes.
I was like, what?
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is what I meant to say.
Okay.
I'm probably 10 episodes in so far, but it's really good. There you go.
This is the most we've talked about anime on this channel since freaking 2017.
There you go. Was the podcast even around in 2017?
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was just talking about like fanatixfour as an entity.
Oh, and okay.
Yeah.
Nice. It's fun times. But yeah, My Hero. Oh, there's going to be a new episode tomorrow, I guess, maybe. Last week's episode was good.
Don't talk.
Oh, I won't say anything. I'm just saying it was good.
I just mean don't bring it up as a show that exists because the last episode I watched was like episode 3 of the season. No. I am so very behind.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever get caught up.
You can get caught up real fast.
Until like what season are we on? Season 3?
Season 4.
Season 5. Once that comes out, then I'm like, all right.
Because it'll be, right. But that's some of my favorite ones. Also, JoJo's was good. I just haven't continued watching it much.
I still haven't watched it.
But
see, that's the thing. Like,
I'm quite a noob when it comes to anime.
Once it becomes a thing that everybody tells me, or even if it's one person that's particularly persistent, it makes me want to watch it less. And that's what happened with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's like every time somebody brought it up, it's like, well. That's another 4 months of me not watching that show.
That's why I'm glad. Like, I would be that way with Rick and Morty if it weren't for the fact that one of my coworkers was like, man, you got to watch Rick and Morty. It's fun. And he's like, just the nicest, most jovial guy. So I was like, yeah, man, of course I'll use your Hulu account that you're letting me use just to watch a show that you want to talk about. So then I watched it and I was like, okay,
that's
cool.
That's the difference there.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's just like, yo, this is great and I know you'll like it, that's fine. But if it's this thing where it's like you're berating me to watch the show, it's like I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So that stuff. But there's some animes. Brad Cheney, Chicapo asks, when does the next Parker Deal album drop? Probably in a very, 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 very long time. I have so much time to do all sorts of creative projects. And then John Francis asks, Dear Arthur, are you goodest boy? Yes. In Deal household. Absolutely. We also have a girl dog, but she's a girl dog, so she's not a boy.
So she's not the goodest boy.
She's not. She's the goodest girl.
Yes. There we go.
And that's it. That's all the questions. We ended with some very non-topical gaming ones, but
I mean,
we are.
I think that's the bulk of the point.
I mean,
Q&A. Because Q&A is just supposed to be like, like freaking ask us questions for answers you want to know on stuff. And we talk about most of the gaming stuff without being asked. So the other stuff doesn't come up unless somebody asks about it,
It is accurate.
That's why I'm like, yo, give us the weird one. Because like otherwise it's uninteresting because we already talk about the other stuff anyway.
Yep. But that's it from us. Guys, we're probably going to go eat some burgers.
Yeah, man.
And we're hopefully, I need to figure out with you more PAX things, but if you're going to be at PAX, let us know because we'll be at PAX.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I feel like it's too early to tell people. Well, they still have 4-day passes.
I don't know.
So like, if you want to go to PAX and you don't know if you're going to PAX, we're going to be at PAX, so you should come to PAX. But as far as like, if you're already going, that doesn't really matter right now because PAX is a month away.
Yes.
So more than a month.
I'm just saying it because it was on my mind this week because I was. Yeah.
Because
I got the email back.
We're doing the planning part of like.
We are. It is true. Man. Yeah.
But yeah, come to PAX, man. Games. Also, like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast with your friend. If you listen on the podcast service of your choice, rate us there. You know, say something nice. Even if it's just something nice. And you give us an amount of stars that's preferably up to 5, you know? All 5 of them. You can give us 4 stars if you're not feeling generous.
I'm going to check and see what our most recent... We haven't had a new comment in the longest of times on at least the podcast app on
iTunes.
Yeah.
So give us a review, man.
Let's
get some views.
Yeah.
See you next week. Also, we'll read those during Q&A if you do the review thing.
That's true.
So
you might want to let us know somewhere that you did it, though, because otherwise we just won't check. And it'll be like a month later. We're like, oh, okay. So, all right, y'all.
Goodbye.
Bye.